And welcome back, of course, to the, well, of course, to the part 2 of the 24-hour majors here at Le Mans for the OCE Racing Team Purple that will be following here this evening. And I am the Biggles back, and Jillsy has jumped in to the commentating booth at the moment, mate, and gave me a recap, please, of what has happened with your boys.
You probably got the worst person to give you a bit of recap. I've been asleep for a little while.
That's right. That's okay. You can sleep.
From what I understand, when I left these guys, we were in P6, hunting down P5. We weren't that far away from them either. I'm pretty sure we were like 10 seconds away, like catching them quite rapidly. When Vans hopped into the car, I would say around the 13-hour mark to go. What is it? That puts us at 9 hours in. And so in that time, we managed to get ourselves into 4th, and we were hunting down 3rd between the stints of Martin and Vans and Oliver. But in Martin's last stint, from what I understand, we got taken out. Pretty much taken out in turn 1, where someone, I can't remember which car it was, but they were off track, and then when they rejoined, they basically rejoined into the apex of turn 2, which, there's only really enough cars, there's only really enough space for one car in that turn, so it's kind of come from off screen to kind of appear in the way of Martin, and he made a bit of contact. No meatball, which is handy, but it gave us a bit of a repair bill. So yeah, now we're idling with John in P8, a lap and a bit down on P7. So we've got a bit of work to do with the last 9 hours to go.
That's excellent. So just one little incident, really, it seems like, during the whole, about 9 hours, so 14 hours or so into this race at the moment, with 9 hours to go. That, I have to say, pretty impressive. I do believe when I woke up in the morning after the streaming was going, you guys were up hovering around that P6 or so position, so that's quite great considering, remember, you guys started plump last in the LMP2 class.
As I said, it was strategy.
Yeah, you said that. So John's in control of the beast at the moment. I was talking to the Taco Man at the moment, and I thought Taco Man's like, yeah, we're beating the OCE guys, because he knows Vanzi personally. And he's like, yeah, beating Vanzi. Then I realized, hey, you're in the hypercar class, mate. You're in a whole different division. I believe they're like P2 or P3 anyway, something around that those lines. But
yeah, we wouldn't even we wouldn't even dream of keeping up with that car. That's a whole. That thing's what, 30 seconds? No, it's not. But it's about 10 seconds quicker than us. So there's no way. Yeah. There's no way.
When I did wake up, there was only 3 hypercars ahead, really, of the LMP2s. They must have eventually caught back up, of course, because of the speed. But yeah, I thought, wow, only 3 hypercars left in this one, because all the rest of them are way down. There's still about a ton of them actually way down behind you guys.
I think there's been a couple of incidents with the hypercars. There was one hypercar that didn't pass us until we were 8.5 hours in, so we weren't passed by this particular hypercar. Like I'm assuming he's had a couple of meatballs or one major one, but yeah, like 8.5 hours in, and then he finally passed us to actually get for a position, and that's a hypercar. So I'm sure there's been a couple of them like that.
I told him that you guys are going to meatball him. I don't think it's going to happen. By the way, and real question, of course, because Vanzi's joined the OCE crew as the Americana.
Yeah.
Go racing down under with you blokes, the Kiwis and the Aussies. How was Vanzi's stint?
Really good. Really good. So actually, that's probably one thing I did forget. So we were managing, when I woke up, so 4 a.m. my time, what would that be? It would be, what's it called?
We'll just say a couple hours ago. How many hours ago did you wake up?
Well, I've had 2 naps now. So I woke up. My first spotting stint was at 4. My first driving stint was at 5. So I'm gonna say about 10 hours ago I woke up.
Okay, you've been around for you've been around for a while, mate. Yeah,
I have.
So we
were dealing with
nana naps.
Yeah, basically. Like my first one was what, 3.5 hours, and my second one's been I would say 2.5 to 3 hours. So I'm probably running on about 5 to 6.
Nice.
In how many hours have I actually been up in the last 48?
And your stint was pretty okay as well too. Because I remember I did wake up. I was like, hey, Jules is in control of the beasts. Of the OCE.
Made up. What many positions did I make up? I think I made up 3 places in my stint.
Nice.
We had some really bad traffic in my stint actually, but managed to avoid everything and continued on. And yeah, towards the end of my stint, made up 2 free spots, which was handy. Just because people, again, we put the pressure on and they spin out. But I had a little incident, a small minor one, but enough to give us.
Just to cut you off, this could be very important at the moment. The car's up the road from you in P5. Looks like it had a little bit of a moment here. I probably should share the screen. Yeah, they have. Actually, not too bad. They cooked it, I believe, into the final corner for the straightaway. But they're okay, but it just cost them a little bit of time.
We need a bit of people cooking things.
We need a bit of cooking.
But yeah, so we've kind of been working our way down from a bit of optional damage. So a bit of minor damage on the car. So when Vans was in it, we had, I think, 90 seconds left. And when I finished with it, we had just under 90 again after someone decided to reverse into me.
Reverse?
Yeah, he spun at... What's this? You know how you got the long Mozon straight, and then you got the second chicane leading down into like sort of like a 90-degree right-hander.
Right.
Yeah. So he was. So he was basically in the middle of the track, just after that corner. So I noticed the yellow flags, slowed down quite enough because it's a blind corner. You can't see until you've gone through that corner. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's on the exit or something. So just really slow down, and sure enough, he was there. And I tried to go around him because, he was blocking mainly the racing line. So I tried to go on the opposite end. That wasn't the racing line. And he reversed into me. So it resulted in about 45 seconds of extra damage.
That's not too bad in an endurance race.
It's not. It's a pain. But it did cost us an extra 5 or 6 Ks on top speed, which we were already lacking 5 or 6 Ks on top speed due to the previous damage we had. So... we were slowly working that, and then all of a sudden that came, and then,
Now, I was reading in the chat here in the OCE-RACing Discord, there was a little bit of maybe a slightly Code Brown moment as JS posted something that says, an moment, and I looked at it and go, oh, no, but he said it was okay, they dodged it, and that was about 20 laps ago. How are they doing at the moment, too? That is your other team.
I do not know, actually. I've been on for... about 10-15 minutes now, so I haven't actually caught up with how they're going.
Okay.
I can find out for you very quickly if you like.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. We've got time for sure, absolutely. When you get a chance, I know that William is still streaming it, which is fantastic for William. Is streaming the whole thing on Twitch on his channel, so you'll be able to watch a whole thing back. Of course, I can only do certain segments, but I'm going to be continuing this all the way to the end. Should be about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, I believe, when it finishes for me, which is about 9 hours and 15 minutes from now. As it's good to actually see the sun come up there, because nighttime racing is not very great as a spectator kind of thing. For you guys, it's a whole different kettle of fish. But survived the night. You've survived the nighttime here in Le Mans, which is a crucial thing.
We have, we really have. What's the in-game time at the moment? It's 6 a.m. in-game time. So when I hop in the car, it'll be 7 a.m. when I hop in the car.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just going to hop in about an hour.
Weather information at the moment, there it is. So yeah, you're right. It's about 6 a.m. in the morning. Here in France, 19-degree track temperature. It's quite cold.
It is. Let's have a look at...
Is Vanzi still around? I see him in the other chat.
He is in the chat, but I haven't heard anything from him, so I'm not sure.
Might have a little snooze. Is he going to get back in the car again? Because I'm not quite sure at the stints of what you guys are doing.
Oh, let's find out. Thomas Vance.
I texted him just before. He did chat to me a little bit earlier, but I'm not quite sure if he's still around now.
Nah, his stints are done. So he's done his 4 hours. So all of us, because there's 6 of us, all of us has 4 hours each.
Okay. I saw when everybody was submitting there on the Majors website, and I saw some of the teams that had like 2 or 3 drivers. I'm like, you can do an endurance race with 2 or 3 drivers? You mean might be a little bit early? But
Yeah, they're crazy.
yeah, they are absolutely mad. That's just tough.
Look, I've done a 10-hour stint, and that was. You get halfway through it, and you're kind of like, oh my god, and then you kind of get like nearly 3/4 of the way through it. It's kind of like you kind of just get re-perked up a little bit, and it's a strange one actually, because like there's bits and pieces of it you just want to be like, can it be over? And then like there's bits and pieces of it is like, I feel fine.
Yeah.
It's like, how long have I been driving? Really? 7 hours? Doesn't feel like that. And it's kind of like, yeah. So,
good close battle brewing at the moment between P3 and P4 in your class. And they're about 7/10 of a second down the road. Now, pit stop strategies, I can't really give you an accurate one on that one because I've only just been essentially watching for about an hour and change with the software, and it doesn't count all the previous pit stops. But another one to talk about, the strategy, my friend. It looks like Andrew Marquez is the P3 position, and just behind him is the Going Racing of Jack. So you're probably sitting there going, all right, guys, take each other out, please. It'll help us. But yeah, strategy-wise, what and with the other cars that are near you, like Grizzly Motorsports, TCE, Decon Racing, etc., are you on similar pit stop strategies to those blokes? Lads?
No, we're a lap behind due to the incident that Martin had earlier. So we've got a bit of work to do.
Okay, is that by a bit of work that you're talking about? Does that mean you're like is John gonna be like saving a little bit of fuel, perhaps, on each lap that he's doing?
No, we kind of worked out it's not worth it, so we just kind of have to punch it for 2 hours straight, really.
Okay. And John's laps that he has been doing currently at the moment is last lap for John was a 3:35, which is about 2 seconds quicker, believe it or not, than the drivers up the road. 3:38, 3:37, so he's punching it.
If we can keep 1 to 2 seconds quicker for a couple of hours, we'll claw that time back and be right back there. So,
and John was one of the blokes that helped set the car up, right? Because of his experience, I guess.
He is the setup guru.
All right. Let's have a look at his helmet right now. Let's have a look at John. I'm actually showing it to you as well, too, so you can probably see it. But here he is. Here's John. Got the clear visor on.
It is.
Focusing on the other side. Look at that. Not even blinking. That's how much John's focused.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's the disappearing Ferrari in front of me. It's a bit of a blinker.
Oh, we don't want any disappearing cars. There it is. There's the Ferrari.
Oh, it was a scary moment, actually, in my stint earlier this morning. Well, it's this morning for me. Yeah, it was. We had one hypercar, 3 LMPs, and 2 GT3s, all in the same piece of tarmac. And one of those GT3s was disappearing, and nobody knew what the hell to do. Because, he was there one moment, and then you're going around the corner, and he's just gone. And it's like, oh my lord, where is he? Where is he?
I've seen that before, obviously, and if anybody wants to know what the disappearing is, that's just a little bit of a netcode that happens with the iRacing, so their connection is not actually updating correctly to the iRacing server, and therefore everybody else around them sees blinking, including us as a spectator menu. And obviously it's very scary, especially if you're getting side by side with a car, because you have no idea what they are until they reappear. Yeah. Still better than the Formula 1 game, of course, but at the end of the day, it's scary. More so scary when you're in an endurance race and you don't want to have a little moment like that. So what do you do in those cases? What can you do? Like you're close? Do you back off? Do you just plant it? I don't know.
You pray. And you hold out the brown flag for as long as possible without giving it up.
And the other job, I mean, as a spotter, sometimes as a spotter, say for example that was to happen to your team, and the other drivers are nearby. Is there an indication that you can tell your spotters can tell the driver, hey, you're having a little bit of the netcode issue, or obviously avoid a potential incident between you and another car because they can't see you because you're blinking or something? Has that happened before in the past, you guys?
It depends. Because most of the time when someone's blinking, it's blinking for everybody, but sometimes it blinks for some people. Okay. So it really depends. Sometimes, like when the GT3 was blinking in front of me, it was also blinking for Vans at the same time.
Yeah.
And both of us are on Ethernet, so we're not on Wi-Fi.
And, your dad hasn't gone fired up the microwave and then going, I got to cook some popcorn and watch this race. And you're like, Dad, no, it's that 22.4 gigahertz. It conflicts with my...
Pretty much.
It was actually a great pun, actually, between one of the endurance races I was casting with another caster, his great caster, and he was like, I think I clipped it at one point. He was like, or when your parents don't realize you're in an endurance race and, your dad gets up there and goes, I can't connect to Facebook, so he goes, resets the router. Well, you're in the middle of an endurance race.
That's amazing. I've never once had that. My dad knows to stay well and truly clear.
Yeah, that's good, but you got to remember to communicate with your parents because they might do that. They go, it's not working. It's all right. I'll just reset. Turn that, plug it back in again. It's going to reset it all, of course, and you're in the middle of a race. You're potentially out at that point.
Yeah.
Or another case that I heard of when, a lot of young drivers here, so, they didn't quite communicate to their parents that it was dinner time. I think I've said this story a few times, but, mum's like, get down here, get your butt down here. It's family dinner time. And then, the kids going, yeah, Mum, but hang on, I got to finish my stint. And I'm like, no, sorry. She comes upstairs there, yanks the power cable out of the back of the computer. Boom. Game over for the whole team.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's what happens, man. If you don't communicate to your parents, if you're living under their roof, you follow their rules.
Yep. That's why I'm under my own roof now. So.
But you guys are all good, of course. You guys are all been practicing for so long. They're all great communication skills, and that's why OCE is doing such a great job and still continuing to do a great job. Overall, Jilzy, I'll let you go down there and recap with everybody. Also, if you can, grab Vanzi. I think Vanzi just left. Damn it.
I was going to say, he might have just left. He's probably
only
gone
11 o'clock at night our time in the States, so he shouldn't be. But then again, he's probably been up for some time.
Yeah, his stint was basically 9 to 5 today, so.
Working 9 to 5. What a way to earn your money. But I was going to say, overall, how are you feeling about this? 23 positions gained, I believe, according to my telemetry. What's your objective? Obviously P1, but realistically, podium?
It would have been had we not have been involved in a couple of skirmishes. I think right now...
you're boxing too.
Yeah, I think right now it's clawback time. So try and cut back some of this deficit for as many hours as we can. And then, because Martin's got the last stint, so there's a bit of pace in that last stint. So, let's see what we can do. But
is John going to stay in this for another stint?
Yeah, because I'm next in. I'm in an hour. So under an hour now. But
so you're taking tires, and gas?
Yeah, so he will do...
Will he be taking in repairs at the moment? His car looks pretty good.
Maybe optionals. It'll take maybe 15-20 seconds of optionals just naturally through the stop.
Okay.
Which is handy because I don't know how much time we've got left on optionals, but I'll find out from the guys once I hop back in with them. But yes, as soon as we get those optionals fixed and repaired, I think we'll get our top speed and stuff back to where it should be, because that's kind of where we've been lacking. Especially my first stint, we were down. I think 5 or 6 Ks, 7 Ks down the straight. So when we were trying to overtake people, we're in the tow and they're getting away from us. Only slight, but they're still getting away. It's kind of like, well, crap.
Well, I mean, you had to say John's pace has been good. I mean, he's been lapping a couple of laps. I'll pull that time up in a moment too. He's been lapping quicker than the drivers up the road.
We're not really affected in the corners. So with our damage, we've only been affected. I think it's just added a bit of drag. So yeah, it's in the corners we are quicker than most drivers. But yeah, down those straights, it's where they claw back a little bit of time where we just can't pass them. So when we get stuck behind someone, we're actually stuck for a little while, and we have to, we basically toss a coin. Do we play it safe and just hang around, or do we have to send it into one of these corners? And obviously, being an endurance race, you get it wrong with one send, there's, 14, 15 hours of work undone. So
yes.
it's kind of one of those things that, like, you know, we're playing a little bit of the long game, hoping that, you know, once the repairs get done, we pick our top speed back. That drag is sort of fixed a little bit, and, you know, it's going to make passing or overtaking down the straights a little bit easier. So luckily, we've been okay when it comes to passing. We kind of have to pray off patience and a little bit of a mistake or a better run from us out of the corners. So, and we've been okay. But, you know, whenever we've had to pass someone, it's never been immediate because we just can't stick with them down the straight. It's kind of been a couple of laps later. So we kind of like have to judge up where are they slowest, where can we make this overtake, and, you know, by that stage we've lost a couple of seconds, but, you know, a couple of seconds lost is better than a couple of minutes lost at the end of the day.
Oh, exactly. That's the good thing about your OCE racing team, is that you guys are willing to sacrifice a few seconds of a lap in order to keep, you know, essentially half an hour, whatever, repairs by making silly mistakes and stuff like that. So, once
Pretty
again,
much
doing a great job. Let's look at the lap times. So currently, at the moment, you are a lap down currently from P6, but then you just took your pit stop. A 3:42 was the last lap, but we still have to wait for the full lap because that was including the pit stop. From John Boy.
Yeah. So
He's only got a surprising a man that has so much experience in motor racing. 1.4K I rating. It definitely doesn't reflect his experience, isn't it, in motorsports?
I was about to say, iRacing in general doesn't really reflect. You know, you can be an actual pro driver, but you can still have some you know, maybe only decent high rating. I wouldn't say great high rating. So I'm pretty sure I'm not sure if you've heard of the driver. He races in Italian F4, Andrea Antonelli. He was probably only a couple of tenths quicker than I am in iRacing, but, you know, in reality, he's probably seconds quicker than I am. So it's kind of like, it doesn't really merit. Sometimes I guess it's just how it is. It's the same, but it's, you know, sim racing is also quite different at the same time. Like,
Go ahead.
There's only so much the feeling can sort of merit. There's a lot of sensations that you miss from being in the car.
Just having a look, so there was a big lift off between Kenneth here and the other driver of Jack. They're in P4 and 5 in your class, and I'm just wondering what has happened here. It was a huge lift off to let him through. I think it was, just trying to see where it is. Here it is. Have a look at this one, my friend, if you're watching my screen here. Now, this is Kenneth. Went the right way. Oh, sorry, maybe a car exiting pit road actually more than anything.
I was about to say, I saw someone coming through there.
Yeah, as an overtake. So that's Kenneth for the Grizzly Motorsports team. Up into P9. Jack is a little bit further down the road there. So, yeah. I think that was just an exit of the pit road more than anything. Okie dokie. I'm a little excited, of course, because those blokes are up the road from you. So anything that happens up there, it affects your race. Yeah, yes. Yeah. So YS Simsport, the blokes that are currently leading your class. Not too bad, you have to say. Pace-wise, well, 346 is... Oh, it just came out of pit road or something, isn't it? That's not a really good lap time. 346 is definitely not a good lap time. They must be overtaking some of those cars nearby. They are. And it looks like these lads have basically gained, it shows 15 positions. So, anyway, do you remember who even was in P1 currently in the LMP2 class at the start of the race?
The guy sitting ahead of us is currently in P1. There's actually a bit of controversy going around with them at the moment. Hang on, no, it's not these guys. I think it's... Let me have a look. I think it might be these guys. Or... I'm just going to have a quick look. It might be YS.
Got 8-9 hours. Plenty of time.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's these guys currently in P1.
Who is in what they started
YS.
P1, right?
Yeah, YS Sim Sport. So
Yep.
the
I'm watching it right
controversy
now.
right now,
Yep.
is they've been sandbagging.
Oh, that's in the chat as well too from Eckers. They
Yeah,
sandbagging,
so-
he says. Well,
Yeah,
explain
so
this to me. What is the sandbagging?
Well, essentially, it's when you've got more pace in the car, but you're not using it. You're purposely holding back some speed. And what the controversy is with them is that they've gone in their qualifying run, they've gone faster in qualifying than they did in pre-qualifying, and not by a little bit.
Oh.
They've gone a lot quicker, like 4 seconds quicker in qualifying.
Now I get what you're talking about. So essentially what they're doing is that they probably would be, say, a tier 3 team. And what they've done is that they've sandbagged during the times to be scheduled to be in, basically placed into this tier 5. And that way they can just dominate this race.
Essentially.
Okay. That would make sense. Yeah, otherwise, I would say you wouldn't sandbag during a race. There's no point, right? You can just run away with it. But
100%.
Yeah, but the iRating is like at currently the moment with Ethan. We're watching it's a 2.5K. So it's not like, once again, you said about the iRating doesn't really justify a great deal. However, the strength of field that does come into play.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, so what they've also been doing,
isn't it? And what are you going to gain from it at the end of the day? You know, if you do win the race, you're like, yeah, okay, we won the race. But then again, you know, get Max Verstappen in here and race against you guys. I'm like, do you think Max is going to be happy that he's beaten everybody in a tier 5 when he should be in a tier 1?
Pretty much. So basically, what they've also been doing is they've been trying to hide their lap times by sitting on some of the apexes and you know, spending more time into corners than they probably should be. And like sometimes they'll
the same thing out there, mate, in the chat.
Yeah, so sometimes they'll you know, they'll pop in a super fast lap, and then like I think they're like the next lap is like super slow. So like they're trying to hide their pace. That's what I've been. Look, I don't know. That's what I've been reading in the protest form. There's been a lot of chatter about it. So that's what I'm currently seeing right now. It's been going on all morning.
And it's all interesting because I was chatting a little bit earlier to a driver called Aiden Young that I cast in some of the other racing leagues. He races the W12s, he races the F3s and so forth, GT3s. And he was like, Beagles, like, because I talked to him, what are you racing? Are you racing this week? Yeah. He's like, he's in the top tier split. But he's a 5.4K whatever iRating with a bunch of guys around him that are like 6 and 7K. So you'd imagine that. I'm just one of these guys that's sandbagging so much with such a lower iRating. I guess, how does that all pan out? Because, I mean, you look at the iRating and go, okay, it seems to be very well balanced with everybody else, but then you say lifting and coasting, drivers deliberately going a little bit slower there.
I mean, look.
They're also risking it too, mate, remember, because, you know, anything can happen on the track. Somebody can crash out, they hit them, their race could be very much done and dusted.
Pretty much. So look, for me, it doesn't make much sense to be, you know, I get it, you want to win, but like, it doesn't make sense to put yourself in a split you probably shouldn't be. As I said at the very beginning in the first stream, we should have been in split 4. We were literally a hair away from being in split 4. So that is where we well and truly should have been. John saw that one coming, but man, that was close. Yeah, so we should have been in split 4. You know, I don't know how well we would have done.
Ooh, sorry, just got off the racing line.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
So I don't know how well we would have done in split 4, but I know, like, I'd rather be coming 13th or 14th in split 4 than be 5th or 6th in split 5. Because at the end of the day, if your split is... Oh, no, John's lost it.
Oh, no, don't tell me that.
It's all right. He's...
Oh, John, my boy.
It's all right.
Final corner, isn't it? Again, catching a few drivers off. I'm going to have a look at the replay of that one. Sorry, I don't want to have to show the replay, but we have to show the replay. So, yeah. Sorry, here we go. So the OCE, John made a little bit of a mistake right now. And explain this one, what happened.
I think just gotten a little bit greedy in through the forward curbs because, he rear end just kind of stepped out on him, and I think he's tried to plant it a little bit too early. So
this is when you rely on your spotters, don't you? Because you're in a dangerous position to rejoin, and thankfully he did wait for those couple of cars there. No damage to the car, no doubt. I don't think.
Yeah.
Right? You just like a little off track.
No damage.
Okay.
So just an off track. I mean, unless he's damaged it on the curves, which I don't think he did, and I think that Mercedes is unhappy that he passed him through there.
It's
But
flashing right now. Look at it, it's going. Get out of my way! Move! Get out the way! Well, doesn't have to.
Well, no, he does. I mean, look, they're in a much slower car, so technically, so long as they hold their race line, he's still flashing.
I don't know why. Now that point down the road, can't really do too much about that. Look at straight line speed, of course. Your car almost looks black at this point. It's supposed to be purple. Is it deep purple?
It is.
There it is. It's deep purple.
You can thank Oreo for the livery. Yeah, so we decided to go. Everybody wanted OCE black and OCE purple, so we made the logo OCE black and OCE purple. So
I love your livery. I told you this before. It's simple. It's to the point, easy to notice generally, and he's flashing right now to say that Ferrari get out of the way. Not many Ferraris actually believe in this race for the GT3s, maybe about a handful at best.
Yeah.
But I always love on the rear fin, on the fin, you can see the OCE right there. It's simple. I love simple. I think simple works brilliantly. I told you sometimes you look like a black and white cop car. Some of the previous events that you guys have done, especially in the GT3s.
This is all Oreo's work. The livery, that's all him. Yeah, he does a great job with it. We just provide the logo. All the sponsors, for that matter. This year, I don't think we're running with any sponsors.
Yeah, any sponsors? Your racing team you do in real life and all that jazz? What about what John's involved with as well, too? Of, his adventures?
We've got... It was kind of... A lot's been going on in the background, so... I didn't really get a chance to ask a couple. Which is probably my bad, but at the same time, we've got next year, and next year we'll probably deck the car out with some proper sponsors. So,
the cars with Phil B. Jolly, la 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 la, yeah. There we go. And 51. Any particular reason why the number was chosen for this car?
No, I think that's just I think that's just randomized in the split. So I think you can pay for a specific number. I don't know how much it actually is. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure if you don't pay for it, you're just given a randomized number.
Huh.
So, yeah, not much to go off that one.
Riding shotgun right now.
Pardon?
I'm riding shotgun right now with Mr. John. You guys will be like, hey, I think the steering wheel's on the wrong side. It's a bit of a tricky situation because look at that. He has to back off a little bit. Now, this is interesting. See that sun? And you can see the stream that I'm looking at as well. At this point, when the sun rise, or the Earth is rotating into the sun, to be correct. Any of you drivers were driving in VR?
John does. John does drive in VR.
Apparently that's very difficult, isn't it? When the sun is blinding you, almost?
I wouldn't know. I've never actually tried on iRacing at this time of day. I've tried VR before. I mean, it was obviously a big step compared to just looking at screens. And, the immersion is supreme in VR. I just can't stomach it for long periods of time. So I don't know how John does it, but, I can't do it. So
the blinding thing. It obviously depends on the graphic setting that drivers were having there, but it is blinding. I've heard from 4 drivers in a VR saying, certain tracks like Sunrise, of course, in Sebring, whatever I think it is. But, it can hit you really hard because... And spectator menu I'm looking at right now, if you're right on board with a driver, it's like, bang, You all know how harsh that sun is down in Australia. And imagine that when it hits you in the face in the track.
Oh, yeah, so what was I saying? What was I saying? So, yeah, I don't know how they manage the VR, to be honest. I can't stomach it, but I run triples for my immersion, and, that helps. Yeah. I run triple 27s. I probably
send me a picture of your rig, mate, and I'll just overlay it for a little bit if you want.
I can. I will maybe do that a bit later. But yeah. So I probably could go to triple 32s, and that'll definitely help with more immersion. I feel like maybe there's a little bit cut off with 27s, but 32 is probably the max I probably want to go, especially on my rig anyway.
Do you run the graphic settings lower just to get more frame rate and speed and less like distractions per se of these graphics?
My graphics are predetermined by iRacing. I haven't really played around with them. I could play around with them, and I think I'm getting decent frame rate.
Okay.
So I don't think it's too bad. I think like my screens can punch out. I think 144 hertz. I think it is.
Okay. Yep. I'm running 144 at the moment as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what I'm actually running in game is 110. I think so. It's not that bad. I definitely could push it a little bit more, but that might require a bit of a graphics card update.
Yeah, that's true. I just kind of wonder sometimes because obviously people get advantages to de-accelerate basically graphics and stuff like that to make the game run smoother. It's a questionable thing because people then go, well, hang on, you got an advantage, don't you, over something like Vons will crank it. Vons has all these stuff turned up.
Yeah,
and same with Squill, that's broadcasting as well too on the Twitch channel. He'll have it all cranked up. Squill actually helped me a lot with maximizing the graphic settings for my broadcasting, so that I get a good frame rate without skipping and make it look as beautiful as possible. But then again, I'm not racing.
Yeah, it'll definitely give you a bit of an advantage. I think I get a little bit of clipping sometimes, which if you're not prepared for it, it can catch you out. But I've been okay. I only had it once in my 2-hour stint, so I'm hoping in my next 2-hour stint doesn't happen. But I probably do need a bit of a tweak with my settings, and that might help me find a bit more performance.
Yeah, talk to Vanzi and Squill about that. They're very good. Help me. Another thing I would actually ask is, I noticed just as a broadcaster mode, at the start of the race, if you've got 50 or 60 cars loading up on a grid, they all load it at once, and then everything's kind of just reloading. You're at the start of a race, okay? So you're about to hit the gas pedal because it's a rolling start still here, but things are all loading at once with drivers loading in last minute and stuff. Does that ever affect your race start?
Unless they're blinking, no.
Okay.
The game's pretty smart where it's if everybody's all in the one section, I'm pretty sure it doesn't load the second half of the track and stuff to try and help with performance.
Okay.
And then once everyone starts to spread out, it stops loading cars on the opposite end. Unless you physically click on them, then it will load them up. Otherwise, it won't. It won't do it naturally. So again, it's all in the name of performance. So yeah,
that's probably like for me, of course, as a broadcaster, I'll be clicking all over the place in different cars. So yeah, as long as it doesn't affect the drivers, that's the main thing. That's what I love about iRacing. It focuses on the driving, to make sure that the driving aspect is the best part of the game. The rest of it,
pretty much.
And I love about iRacing as well too, is that they allow the extra SDK software and camera packs and all that sort of stuff. They just say, here it is, go for it, use it to your best ability, make it look pretty if you want. We're going to continue to do what we do best, is focus on the driving aspect of it. That's what makes a great game. F1 and all that sort of, some of those other games need to take a page out of the iRacing book on that one, don't they?
Definitely. But I mean, look, you never know. I kind of hope. I mean, look, iRacing by no means is not perfect. It does a lot of great things though.
But what is perfect? And I'm hoping. Come on.
It's true. Yeah. I'm hoping with their weather and new tire update might take it into the realm of very, very a bit closer to reality. Because right now, I think their actual driving mechanics and stuff is pretty good. I think it's from what I understand from a lot of different people, the tire contact is still not right. So.
And John would explain that, right? As a real life engineer.
Yes.
He would probably get into the nitty-gritty of that more so than you and me. And well, you are actually involved in real life motorsports, but I mean, like me, that's not.
Oh, there's definitely more grip.
Ooh, by the way, real quick there, you have the 110 car behind you here, so is this going to be a lift now? I was going to get an idea on that 110 car in category. They are basically second in your LMP2 class. So is this like, John, just let him through? Don't bother fighting that battle?
Yeah, no, it's not worth it at the moment. We'll try and get them back later, but we've got a bit of work to do at the end of the day. Like right now, my stint's in half an hour, so honestly, I'm gonna do. I'll just stay out of trouble for one, but two, try and pump some laps in. So I think that's what I'm gonna have to focus on.
I was just watching a replay too. My apologies. Yeah, hypercar just got through there, so yeah, he already let the car through. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Are you nervous? Do you get nervous when you get inside that car immediately? Obviously, just after these drivers. Or
sometimes
done
because
a stint now, so you're more comfortable.
I don't know. I'll answer to that question after my second stint. But yeah, let me look. You do get nervous at the end of the day. It's only natural because you want to, at the end of the day, do well. You don't want to make any mistakes because you don't want to be the reason something happens to your team. So yeah, there's so many different emotions.
It's a team thing too, isn't it? Because you feel, I think you'd feel, to me personally as a driver, I think, I feel gutted that I let the team down, that I let myself down.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's kind of what you're a little bit more nervous about. But I think once you get going and you find a rhythm, everything becomes just natural. So it's kind of one of those things where it's early nerves, but once you just gotta settle quickly, because the quicker you find a rhythm, the quicker you settle, those nerves, that the nerves can lead to mistakes. So
yeah,
it's just
that's
about
true.
Staying on top of things.
And the blokes, and I've heard you guys before, obviously as spotters and stuff like that in the chat here in the previous history of OCE, the guys are really good, right? They're really calm. They're like, you make a mistake, you get frustrated yourself, but I think the blokes are really good at calming the driver down. So, right, mate, get on with it.
Yeah, definitely. Oreo's really great. He's done, especially like Guackle and Confirmed. They've done many endurances. Even when we don't do these big ones, they do just the weekly endurances sometimes. So they've got a lot of experience, and experience leads to better outcomes at the end of the day. I think sometimes experience counts for a little bit more than pace. Even though pace is always great, but sometimes it's just understanding where and when to put your car, because you could be three seconds quicker, but you come back with a half an hour damage. That experienced guy's always gonna. It's kind of the tortoise and the hare at the end of the day.
Yep, you're absolutely right. That's what OC. It's what you guys have been doing brilliantly, and I love the fact that your league, and every day you join the OCE team. But these days, you don't do F1 leagues, and you don't basically do weekly league events and stuff. You guys are just all about the endurance racing, which is what I love, right? Like, get together for these events and practice, hook it up, get the right team, the right players, and you got multiple teams now too. Remember, I mean, you even had 3, didn't you, in Bathurst? You got 2 here.
We did have 3 in Bathurst, that's right. Look, I think with 12 hours, it's a little bit easier to piece together a couple of guys, because, you only need 3 guys doing 4 hours, and, that's a team. So with 24 hours, 6 guys at 4, like, essentially you break that in half, that's 2 teams. Honestly, if this was a 12-hour event, we'd theoretically have 4 teams. So it's kind of one of those things where we'd like in the future to have a 3rd team at Le Mans next year. But 2 teams still pretty good. We had 2 teams last year, and technically more drivers. I think last year Team 1 we had 4 drivers. I think 3 or 4 drivers, and Team 2 had 4 or 5 drivers. So we've got 6 and 6. So 3 more drivers than last year. So
and you're still looking for more drivers, right? Because I remember when I was speaking to Vanzi, because Vanzi's like, he loves these endurance races. He's very great at these endurance races. He's joined teams before in the past, and he's willing to put the effort in, as you know. And I was chatting to him, and I'm like, the OCE guys, mate, they put so much effort into it, Vanzi. You gotta work with them, because you love endurance races. They put an effort into it, and I'm glad that he's joined the pole. Hold on to it, John. Good save.
He did.
Absolutely brilliant save. Now he's got to let the hypercar through there, maybe stay ahead of the GT3. But yeah, back to that subject, of course, was the fact that are you looking for more drivers, obviously like Vanzi and that kind of caliber, that have the patience to do these endurance races?
All the time. I mean, look, it doesn't necessarily have to be the caliber of Vans. We're happy to take on anybody that's just keen to get into racing, because as I said in the earlier stream, we are more a community than as a team. We're very inclusive of all people of all abilities. And at the end of the day, we try and get the best out of the driver. So
Yeah,
we try and make sure everybody improves, everyone has fun.
The OCE is going to have to be converted into the OC Americas and all sorts of jazz at this point. Now you got to allow everybody. And you got a Malaysian driver, right? I believe past. You got Kiwis.
Yeah, we got Peanuts Peanuts is Malaysian, and Wobble Candy is from, I think originally he's from Hong Kong, I think, but he's in England at the moment.
Oh wow. How's he doing, by the way? Is he not racing today?
Yeah, he did. Him and Peanuts were sharing the stint during the late evening to night. So that was their sort of stint that they were sharing, and I think they've both done their 4 hours between the two of them. So their stint's done. It's now up to Chris and confirmed.
That's probably not a bad idea, isn't it? As an Aussie team to have these 24-hour races, to have some people from different countries to be able to suit the time zones that you guys can't really. I mean, these are always weekend events, but yeah, I mean, like ideally.
It definitely helps. I mean, having Vans, because essentially Vans basically did a 9 to 5 today. Like, he's basically like it's having that just kind of helped us. It was really me and Vans that did, for us Australians, it's the middle of the night, so the rest of the team can do the day, and I'm always happy to do the night stint with Vance. So it only needed one of us to stay out during the night, and the other 4 of us can do the day stints. So that helps. If we had maybe another American or something, or a European in the squad, then there's 2 guys that can do the night stint for the day. So
I can get you 2 guys with a 7KO rating, but that might change things around. I'm not sure if you want them in there. And basically, they're like 12 and 13 as well as an age, mate, but they are fast. I've casted them before. They're blisteringly fast, mate. Xander Reed is one of them. Xander Reed just annihilated a W12 competition, and he's just quick in a W12, quick in pretty much everything. And he's like 13, mate. It's like, oh my god, come on, really?
That's nuts.
I wouldn't be surprised right now if he's actually running at a tier 1 split. But then again, these are guys that are going to be like, do we want to be in a tier 4 or tier 5 split? As you said, you just missed out on tier 4. They probably would want to be up to that. So,
well, next year we're aiming for tier 4 and higher, so we'll see.
You're getting up there, but remember, you go back, you roll back a year or so, you guys are like in lower tiers. Now you're in higher tiers.
Yeah, overall. So both improvement of 2 or 3 for us, and an improvement
and you're not
of 4
cheating
for
like that other team I was talking about before. Mention that.
Sure. So we'll see how we go. We've got Spa next, but now I'm going to start to prepare for my stints.
Real quick, you want to go chat to any of the guys and give me any feedback of the other team there, real quick, mate.
I will get you an update. I'll get you an update.
Yeah, I'm going to get that back for a
second. One moment.
That's fine. I'll see you in a minute.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back.
welcome back.
Thank you. So, the worst thing, and I quote from JS25 is the worst thing to have happened to their team is JS has run out of coffee.
Oh, ho, ho.
So that's the
Still
that's
got the Vegemite. That's the main thing. But yeah, he's coffee. Okay, I get that. All right. Well, when I ask to see if it is one of those blokes there for the OCE racing team, Black, I'll have a quick yarn to us a little bit later on. For sure.
Yeah, JS is going to jump in with you in about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I just said I'll hop in here for about 1 or 2 minutes.
I know, mate. You've got to get ready to go prepare, right? So the next pit stop, John is going to be handing that vehicle, that beautiful purple OCE LMP2 over to you, and then see if you can actually ask John, let him take a little bit of breather, a break, whatever, and then tell John to come up a yarn to me, mate, because one of the things I really do enjoy casting the OC is all that racing experience that you guys have in real life and stuff like that. So tell John I want to yarn with him.
100%. So I'll get him in. But yeah, so basically their race is pretty similar to us. They're closing in on some optional repairs, the same as us.
What position are they, real quick?
They're sitting in P5, hunting down P4.
Nice.
So they're I think Confirmed is in the car right now. So yeah, they're pretty much they're having a very similar race to us actually. So they had a bit of damage that they're hunting in. Only off. They started last, same as us.
Oh wow! All right, I'm liking this.
So it just sounds like a very similar race to us. Obviously different things happening, but same outcome at the moment.
Well, I remember you guys starting Bathurst, from last, and you made your way through, which is clever because this is that massive pile up in the mountain. I think that was.
The mountain's essentially one car down there.
You guys are like, mate, illy foreigners coming to Bathurst and think you know it. Bang, you'll have a big pile up ding in the mountain, and we just sit back going, ha ha ha. That's why we're Australians. We know how to conquer the mountain.
Pretty much. So yeah,
right. I'll let you go, mate. Yeah, you got a bit of prep to do. Get your helmet on and your racing gear, and sweat it out for how many stints are you going to do? 2 hours?
2 hours, yeah.
All
so
right.
2 hour stint, and
we
go from there, and that'll be my final stint.
Yep, I won't put the camera on you too often, all right? Trust me, don't worry. You get commentator's blessing.
Nice. Oh!
Yeah, I know. That's a bit risking it for the biscuit for the hypercar run there. All right, thank you very much, Jules.
Catch you soon. And I'll get John to get in. Come in with you when you can.
No worries, thank you. There it is. So, Julesy will be stepping in to the 51 machine at the moment. And the pictures there as John's going to get a bit of a break after his fantastic run, actually, because John's been putting some banker laps in. He's been lapping in the 36s now, 38s, 37s up the road from him. The only drivers who have been a little bit quicker than him have been essentially P1, P2, P3 in that class. They're lapping 33s. So you'd have to say John is getting it done to get closer and closer to those positions. The Grizzly Motorsports team up the road there, as well as the SCOWRS's racing team, and the Jonco's Holler Esports. That's piloted by an Argentinian driver, so I imagine they're probably from South America or somewhere along the line. We will have the fantastic JS come in a minute and give us a little bit of feedback how their comms black team, the black team, of course, for the OCE racing black team, they're in a different split. He'll give us all that feedback. Crash has occurred, unfortunately. It looks like this has occurred from this driver. A little bit further back in our class, 17th running at the moment. Another Australian team, Taipan Esports. That looks like a blink moment. That blink moment, of course, has caused this nasty, massive smash. That is going to cost a ton of time there for the Taipan Esports racing team there, piloted by Lorne McKee. And that is definitely, that would be a red flag if this was a real race. And of course, they have to go towing because no, we're going to drive that car back. But thankfully, our driver was not around there. John's not anywhere around that part of the track there. And they are running currently P17, practically plump last, I'd have to say at this point, when it comes to the LMP2 drivers. As the leader in the BMW hypercars goes into pit road, I wonder at some point when Mr. Taco, that is driving, not driving at the moment, I guess, but they are in the hypercar class as well too. Taco Man's a famous streamer. Hello, JS. I was just talking about Taco Man's a famous streamer. He's actually racing in the hypercar class. He's raced with Vanzi before in the past. But then again, JS, How is your team being? Welcome, of course, JS. How's your team being currently at the moment? There, you're the OCE-RL Black team, right?
Yes, we are going well.
And what tier are you in, by the way, too?
We're in tier 7.
All right, and I just heard from Jules before, a couple of little moments, but you guys are what, P5?
P5 at the moment.
Excellent.
Yeah, we've got a very close battle with P4. It's kind of a pit stop battle in a way. So we're just trying to line it up so we can, because we had it lined where we'd finish like just before the pit stop, if that makes sense. So we're just trying to line the pit stop up with the finish at the moment. But we're looking good for P4. If a bit of luck comes ahead, potentially a podium. So very good. But overall, it's been pretty quiet generally, except those couple of oh shit moments.
Gotcha.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, no, so all going well, and I did a few hours before, and hopping back in at about 6. So yeah, looking all good, and not much else to report, to be honest. It's been
very positive, because I just asked
quiet.
Jules where you guys start.
Though.
Well, you elected to just start last in the class. You're in the LMP2s as well, right?
Yes, we started 18th, and we're up to basically 4th. Yeah, so definitely a good improvement. But we just keep it on track, and we've only had let me just quickly check now, 31 team incidents, which compared to last year was at about 80 plus. So definitely a lot better than last year. But there's been a few incidents, especially some people to watch out for. But generally all good. Managing a minor wing issue where it's causing a bit of drag, causing like a second, maybe a bit less now, drag per lap, but it's a 5-minute stop. Now it's like a 3.5-minute stop. So slowly sometimes what we're doing is we're double stinting the tires, and then on the part where we don't change the tires, we take 30 seconds off the optional repair. So we're not damaged, so the aero will slowly get better. We can't afford a 5-minute stop, if that makes sense. So
of course. Okay.
So yeah, so
that's you're taking
one
little
minor
snippets of the repairs out every single stop you're taking.
Basically, every second stop. Every stop that we don't change tires, and double stinting's fine. It's just as it gets into day, now it's 6:45. As it gets in the day, we might not do that as much, because obviously the tire wear is going to be a lot more. So,
but it's cooler still, but it's getting hotter. Imagine.
No, our tracks. It was 24 during the night, so it was actually really hot. So we've had one of the hottest
splits
tracks over the 10 splits. Now it's 22, so we're actually getting cooler, but then we'll obviously go back up. Ours
is 18 currently at the moment that I'm looking at. So yeah, you do.
Oh, okay.
You're getting the wrong end of the stick, and that's like Australian weather creeping on.
Exactly. We were looking at 40 degrees at the beginning of the race.
Wow.
Which was really chewing the tires. So, but overall, look, everything's good. The car's good. Everything's actually a lot better than we all thought it would be. So we're praying for a podium, but we just kind of got to let the race. We can control the race the best we can, but just let the race come to us and see what happens. I think the worst part is that I've run out of coffee. So
yeah, that's what I just heard. The biggest, as Jules comes back and goes, I got a report there from JS. He's saying, well, the team there at the OCE-RL Black have just reported that they're running out of coffee. I'm like, hey, you got your Vegemite, mate. You're okay. Get some coffee.
No, I've got Mick delivery. I've ordered a Macca's coffee.
Oh, you got Macca's coffee. All right. That means you're going to be able to boost yourself a little bit more lap times and comparing. And that's what John's actually be doing here. John,
okay.
He's been actually really gaining on those cars up the road from him. Just a little bit off the pace to say the top guys in P1, P2, which are boxing right now currently at the moment too in this tier. But John's been putting the effort in, John. And did he help set your car up as well too?
Yeah. So we're basically running the same setup on both cars.
Okay.
So yeah, he's a massive help, obviously, to the team, and to get the setup prepped. I think we went through about it would have been more than 5 different variations of the setup just to try and nail it. And yeah, he's done a super job as always. I think he set the last 4-5 enduros up with the
Yeah.
setup. So yeah, really big help. Obviously, he's got that real life experience as well. Helping with the top teams in Australia and that. So in different categories. But yeah, he's a super help to the team, and no, we appreciate him a lot. So. Yeah,
Well,
it's
Javi,
good.
I'll pick his brain to pieces when John retires from this car in a second there and hands it over to Jules. Jules is getting prepped for that one. Jules, I told Jules he'd wear his race helmet, his race suit. Sometimes he does that, as you know, because he's a real life racer as well.
Exactly. He says he's not, but he is. He definitely 100% is.
Absolutely, man.
He's
It's just
good at it
expensive, as you
well,
know.
so.
Sports like real life
Oh.
racing is like crazy expensive. I mean, people go, "Oh, iRacing costs some money." I'm like, "Yeah, iRacing costs you a couple of grand. Try a real car. You're down.
Yeah,
You're going
exactly.
to get a credit card increase there. It's like 30, 40K at least, just to race a couple
Exactly.
of events."
Exactly. No, it's definitely is expensive. Obviously, having a decent sim, but yeah, the real world's a whole different level.
Plus, the mention that it doesn't have to go to hospital if you crash that car into the fence at 200 miles an hour, things like that. You can-
I'll tell you what, though, some direct drive injuries can hurt.
I have heard, I've seen that before, actually, from drivers
This is my-
online. I've seen people go, "Damn," and then they've basically splintered fractured a finger or something like that too, because it can get
Yeah.
nasty.
But obviously nothing in comparison. But this
No.
is my
Yeah.
the first endurance race with direct drive and load cells, and it makes
How you find it on your foot?
Fine. It's a lot easier to get more consistent.
But you like the brake
oh,
pedal and pressure and all that sort of stuff. Does your foot get
Yeah.
tired after a couple of hours?
Not really, a tiny bit, but nothing massively noticeable. The one thing it does is my wrists a bit. When I'm like probably about, let's say, I think I did like 3.5 hours before or something. So with about half an hour to go, wrist was a bit sore, but now it's now it's fine. So I've got 2 hours. In 3 hours, I've got about 2 hours, so I think I'll be fine.
Do you do any of those wrist exercises? Like like to strengthen your wrists, you those high tension springs that you squeeze all the time as a training.
No, not really.
Okay.
I should, but no, I don't.
Yeah.
know.
Maybe do that for like a day or two before you're going to get in a racing rig. It might help you out with that one if your wrists are hurting. But yeah, I can imagine because you got force feedback, and that's people don't realize
with
the force
everything-
feedback. I've seen pictures of videos of somebody with that 3-4-year-old kid there hanging on to the steering wheel, trying to make it swing down. Of course, force feedback forcing the kid back up, like things like that. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, but look, with everything you can adjust it and all that, and obviously you're gonna get a bit less of feel. But with a track like Le Mans, you don't, you can. There's a lot of straights. There's a lot of like 70% of it straight. So.
True.
But with a tighter track, like I don't know, like Monaco, we're not doing 24-hour Monaco, but
God,
you'd obviously need a lot more.
That'd be like a
lot more feel on the
90% DNF if that was to happen.
Oh, that would be
And it'd be a
insane.
snore fest as
But,
well, too, trying to get overtakes on that one, And JS, speaking of which, you cast a couple of times the real F1 on another channel that we've casted it
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
But you'd have to imagine this is probably more exciting right now than casting perhaps a Spanish the Spanish qualifying sessions over. The Spanish race will be up probably soon. I find this more
exactly.
entertaining, mate, because we got thousands of people around the world in different teams
a lot
there
more,
competing.
A lot more.
It's not just
down
Max
to our level, I
Verstappen up
guess.
the road, just running away for a race.
No, exactly. But no, that race should be good. But to be honest, this weekend I focus on F1 a bit, but mainly this weekend just been focusing on this for once. So
How much prep have you put into this, JS? Because I know you guys for the previous couple of weeks jumped, looked at Discord, sometimes jumped in the morning. You got morning my time. You guys practicing. I'm like, you guys have put like weeks of effort into this.
Yeah. I would say I've put at least 4 weeks. Probably a bit more, probably about 4 to 5. But yeah, mostly every day. At least something on this.
How many hours would you have clicked up already? You think?
Oh, no idea. Let's say at least 40, maybe a bit more. Probably more. Probably about.
That's
50,
like 2-3
60.
days straight of just practice.
But yeah, no, it's definitely. But then also, I carry on from last year as well. Like we did it last year. Obviously the cars are just a bit different in the way they're handled, but it's generally the same. But yeah, I'd say we've had a lot of work, but it's all worth it so far.
Well, absolutely, because your team's in P5. We're currently in P7 at the moment in the split. And on top of that, mate, like you guys also, you guys don't just like, because I noticed this before when I was engineering people in the F1 game and stuff like that back in the day when I realized the game was good. But And I always always say to practice, I was like, okay, guys, like, don't just go out and do flying laps over and over again on empty fuel loads. Go heavy fuel load, go different tire compounds, try different temperatures and you guys do that as well too, like do a couple of night stints and stuff like that to see how it feels.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, generally, everyone kind of knows what to kind of practice their own way. I'll always do fuel, bad conditions, kind of the hardest I can get, to challenge myself and make sure I'm prepared for the better conditions that will be, because there's never going to be like the hard conditions they are. I remember one of our first team sessions, everyone was like, because Jules set it up, everyone was like, Jules, did you run out and put oil on the track? Because it was just all over the place. But look, that's the conditions you want, because you want to challenge yourself. And now every time it gets weird, the rear starts going out and gets a bit fishtaily, we're on top of it. We can fix it straight away, or we can be used to being on the limit a bit, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
Obviously, the 24-hour race, you don't want to push yourself too much. You want to be as consistent as you can and be landing consistent times. Speed doesn't necessarily matter too much, but yeah, no, definitely is. We're all putting ourselves on that harder circumstances, and we're all pushing ourselves. And then the pre-quali where we were on low fuel, everyone seemed to go well, as best as we can. But at the same time, we're not too concerned what split we kind of end up. Obviously, we wanted to end up in that top 4 to get OCE broadcasted and a bit out there more. But but look, I think it's worked out for the best, and I think we're all happy where we are.
You have the best broadcaster in town here, mate. You don't have to worry about
exactly.
the majors top tier split.
We don't need to go for those
covered.
majors ones. We got it here, yeah, exactly, with you and you and Will. But,
yeah, Will's covering this 24 hours at the moment on his Twitch channel. Another question, actually, I'm going to ask you as well. Well, obviously you can practice and rehearse I'm so theatre-esque, but you practice over and over again difficult conditions stuff, but one thing you aren't really practice, isn't it, is just overtaking cars, slower classes and jazz like that.
Yeah.
How do you pan that?
Yeah, so exactly. So that's one of the things I should have mentioned, but basically majors run their own practices, say 2-3 weeks out. So we'll join that, and then just hop ourselves in, and then quite a few people will be in there at once, and then we'll versus the LMDH cars. We'll practice letting them by, because we've got no chance against them in the straights. And then just practicing getting on GT3 cars. So we're not necessarily racing everyone, because the LMP2s will be more spread out, or there'll be a noticeable pace difference. Right. But so generally you just hop in those sessions, and then people kind of just practice from there. And
if you watch the pictures that you're watching right now that I'm sharing on the screen there, because this is a big battle for P4 currently in the same class at the moment, our OCE racing team in P7. Now, it looks like the S's racing team currently I'm riding on board with, half a second down the road, is putting up a big fight there for the Junkos esports team up the road. How do you pan this one out as a racing driver? Like, are they really going for this? Really battle, or what's happening?
So if I'm correct, that's John behind, and then we've got the team in front. Yeah, so at this point, if they're racing for position, obviously they're going to be pushing, but at the same time, see, as he's got the overtake there, at the same time, they've still got 9 hours left.
They're not giving up, but look at this, not giving up on the marbles. And the hypercar squeezes through as well, the thrust spatter in the mix. Oh, it's not actually, that's a lap car, isn't it? What's going on there?
I'm not too sure, actually.
This is anyway, this is crucial, of course, because if they make a mistake right now, John can capitalize this for the OCE racing team. He's going to be handing that one to Jules in a minute, but they are still going for it, mate. They are still gunning it.
But at the same time, they've still got 9 hours to go, so they're gonna be cautious, but they're also going to be pushing for position. Like if we came across a car that we're racing, you're going to be pushing for position, but at the same time, you're still going to be cautious, because we've still got a bit to go, but definitely, that's going to bring out the bit in a race in both of them.
Well, I have to say that too, isn't it? Because, you're essentially lonely on track a lot of the time, just battling the clock more than anything. But then you get in a little bit of a dogfight with another driver up the road there that's maybe similar pace, maybe similar strategy. You want to go for it, don't you? You want some real will-to-will racing action.
You do, but you also want to be composed as well. It's a long race. There's 9 hours to go. You do want to push for it and go for it, but at the same time, like I said, you've got to keep composed, you've got to keep settled, keep in your rhythm, and if you can go for it and then keep a good gap, then sure. But otherwise, just keeping everything.
Do you think Max Verstappen in that car right now would be happy to settle behind? No way.
No. He'd be diving for it.
He doesn't care if there's 9 hours left or 8 hours left in the race. He'd be like, I'm going to go take this guy one way or another.
Exactly, but we're all not Max Verstappen, are we? So I had a guy that was going my pace. He was a blue flag, so there was a bit of a mix up at the beginning. But one of the guys I was about halfway through my stint, 3/4 through my stint, and it was a blue flag, and he was doing constant laps, and I was about a second behind him, and I was happy to sit there and take the tow the whole way through. So I just kept. I could have overtaken him, but then it would have just been a battle that I didn't need to do. He would overtake me. It would have just kept going back and forth. So I sat behind him, sat a second behind him, and just kept getting the tow, and it just worked out for the better.
I'd say that's brilliant driving, because as long as the tow is giving you the same lap time you'd be doing anyway, why not?
Quicker.
Yeah,
even quicker.
In this case, of course, you see some drivers sometimes, and that's the reason why you get these mistakes and moments in motor racing. OC, of course, that's one of the reasons why I love you guys, because you don't risk it for the biscuit. You're a very wise racing team and a wise racing community not to do that. I've casted many of different teams in different leagues and I sit there sometimes and go, why would you try something like that? You've got 9 hours left, and then they do something like that. But yeah, you guys are very clever on that.
As you see on the stream here, he's passed him with confidence, and he wasn't even really massively trying for the move. He just goes past him and then
you think he's gone happy with that tow? Because he's within a second, of course.
Yeah, it'd be happy. But, let's keep his head down and keep going. But I think, look, we've gone vegan, we've got no meatballs. That's what we want. Touch wood. I don't want to jinx anyone by saying that, but we've gone very good. Obviously that close one before that, I saw the guy coming off. I don't know if you can replay it for the viewers or whatever.
I can't, unfortunately, but I did see that. You scared me for a second. You're like, oh no, another Lily going, no, and you're like, it's okay, Beagles, it's okay.
No, okay. But I was sitting there and I saw this guy come past. Yeah, he was known to have a few reports on the incident on the stewards list, and I thought, okay, so we've got to be careful with this guy.
Where is the stewards list, by the way?
It's in Majors 24 server.
Oh, I did not realise that. I might have to pull it up as well, so I know what's going on. Yeah,
and anyway, I was sitting there and I was going, I hit the right corner, and then he goes straight off. I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's gone. Then I see him coming bounced off the wall, coming back on the track, and I'm like, no. So I hooked the wheel right. I wasn't going to hit the brake at that point. I sped up more. I hooked the wheel right, and he was a half a car length of wiping me out, which would have easily been, I would say, 40-minute repair. So that would have put us out the race. And I was just like,
right place, right time, isn't it? And especially in an endurance race, because you never know what's going to happen up the road, regardless of how quick you are. It's just a matter of, and good, obviously, I got a fantastic save on that one.
And Chris was waking up and he's like, yeah, I'm awake now. I'm like, yep, so am I.
I think everyone was awake up there. I was awake when you shouted that out there. Then I was like, come on, guys, no. As I know you guys were doing quite well. It's great that you have a bit of a yarn to me as well, mate. When are you getting back in to pilot that machine?
That'll be in about 2.5 to 3 hours.
So you obviously you're up. You're gonna stay through this one.
Yeah, I'm up. It's 3 p.m. So I had a little nap before. I had a good night's sleep for first time in a little while. I usually don't get those in endurance races. So
that's a good idea, isn't it? Because that's a crucial thing in Formula 1 drivers as well too, to get a good night's sleep. I remember here in Panama when they would have like international football tournaments, and the Panamanians were just nasty. What they would do is that they find out where the foreign team that's playing is staying in a hotel, and they'd make noise at 3 a.m. in the morning, just sit in the car park outside the hotel and just make cracking noise, try to keep them awake all night long so they couldn't get a nice sleep. I think that's just nasty, but that's just that's a tactic, of course, that they wanted to do to help their team prevail.
Exactly.
Yeah, but a good night's sleep is very, very crucial, because I was tucked up at the moment here through the S's, and eventually can get past the elder Ferrari, I think it is.
You got to watch those GT3s, because
GT3s,
some of them will put up a fight, and it's like, well, it's still a race. You've still got to respect everyone, but some of them, they don't have to give.
No. Isn't that the rule of thumb? If they're on the racing line, you got to find your way around them.
You got to find it, and that's the same with the hypercars.
Okay.
And one of them, when I was coming through the S's, was not giving me space, and I'm like, Okay, so I essentially just went for the dive, and I'm like, please stick, please stick,
Oh, you're
please stick.
bold and brave doing a dive, my friend, in an endurance
I had
race.
to, because I put myself in that position, and the hope was that that guy would give me space. He didn't, so I was like, well, I had to. So there was been a couple moments
Didn't
like
you
that.
guys
but I
have
think-
one of those drivers? And there's always, I always say in any endurance race, you have one of those drivers that, when I've broadcasted races, there's always been one of those drivers, one of those cars. I remember too in the Bathurst race that we had recently for OCE a couple of months ago, that there was one car that you just wanted to avoid every single time you get near them. You had one, didn't you?
Yeah, the guy that nearly wiped us out.
Right. And so every
Yeah,
time
so
you
that
approach
guy.
them, it's a scary moment, isn't it? At this point.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, they generally might be disqualified. The amount of incidents they've had, they might be disqualified off that.
Okay.
But yeah, you definitely there's a few people you definitely want to watch out for. Just leaving more gap, not passing it unnecessarily, like not passing it hard spaces to pass, just easy spaces down the straights.
You get
Get
that.
the space.
But you
give
got to
give
remember
enough
too,
alert.
there may be like that driver's first endurance race, and then maybe not
Exactly,
the
exactly.
experience, and so of course
Yeah.
they might make a mistake, and of course it's not generally never intentional. They're just like there, and
No,
and of course next time they won't make those mistakes again. But then again, it is a chance of a grid of 40 or so drivers that somebody in one of those teams may be their first endurance race, not used to it, not dealing how to the situation with all those cars on the track there. Once again, how much practice they put in. I swear that they haven't
Exactly.
done the OCE practice. I know some endurance teams that go, yeah, I've had about 3 hours of practice. I'm like, all right, we'll see how that's going to pan out 24 hours later. And, they get into a lot of
couldn't
trouble.
do that. Exactly. No, I honestly don't know how people go into this with less than 10 hours practice. Like, it's not, to be honest, 10 hours isn't that much.
Do you
Like,
feel
you need-
that at some point in the future for these 24-hour races that there should be a limit to how much hours somebody has to do for
No.
practicing?
No.
No?
I think practice to your heart's content. Yeah, it's probably a bit unfair. I mean,
What if I came in and I can't drive for anything, right? I'm being a keyboard and a mouse. I'd probably murder half the people on the grid. That would be so unfair for all those other drivers.
Oh,
that
you
would
mean
be
a limit
murdered
to
by
how
me.
many? Wait, so you're saying a limit to how much people can practice, or
No.
they need a minimum
in order
hours?
to enter an endurance race, you have to have a certain amount of practice within the practice sessions of an endurance race, like at least a minimum of 3 hours or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so at least they can judge your skill level as well as your safety
Your
rating. Because if I
dedication
went in
as
there
well.
and binned everybody out like in 3 hours, they're going to go, Biggle, sorry, there's no way in hell we're going to allow you into this tournament.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that. I think maybe like a 5-10 hour minimum to then be able to go in the pre-quali and enter a team and that. But in terms of a safety rating and an IR rating, I don't think. they
Okay,
should
yeah,
be
not
worrying
the
about
I
that.
rating, safety rating, because people just trick all that anyway.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do believe the amount of hours that a team has to commit, or at least drive all the
Yeah.
drivers in a team as well have to commit those hours. Like if it's a couple of hours or whatever, they have to commit it because once again, it just seems unfair. Like
But then-
if somebody comes in there and just meatballs people, and you're like, yeah, they can murder your race, and then you're like, well, what are they doing in this? Why are they?
yeah,
in this?
exactly. But people also for this one, this is a bit better because people are paying. There's a
Okay.
pay to enter.
I didn't know I was paid to
Um,
enter.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's
had a
not
blink
massive.
from John real quick there. That was scary.
Yeah, I saw that one there. It's not major, but it's a little like it's like $10-15 to enter, and then you can pay more, and some of it goes to charity if you want to do
I
extra
like that. And,
pre-qualifying.
and once again, I believe I was chatting to Jules at the moment. The 51 number of the car is just elected that way, isn't it? But you can pay to actually get a number if you want.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that one,
That's
but I know
what I'm
you
saying.
can pay a little extra, which I did for a few more pre-qualifying practices.
Oh. Do you have to pay for
Um,
qualifying practices as well?
No, if you wanted to do extra, so you're
Oh.
allowed one 4-lap. But yeah.
Okay. I'm learning. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna grab my coffee. I'll
Yeah,
be
I'm going to
back
grab a drink
in-
real quick. So yep.
All good. I'll be back. In a
We'll be
sec.
back after a short commercial break. Sponsored by Foster's, Australian for beer.
Yes, Biggles.
Hey, you are. You know, I had to do the threaten out there, Vanzi, because I know your stint's over, mate, and I was hoping you're still awake because I know it's about midnight our time.
Yeah. No,
I wanted to have a yarn with you, mate, because it's the first time you've driven with the OCE lads, and I wanted to recap how it all panned out for your stints, plural.
Well, everything went smoothly until obviously after I was gone. As you know, we had a bad rejoin in front of us. Other than that, things went pretty smoothly. I mean, we caught damage early on before I even hopped in. So we were working through repairing that. It wasn't really affecting us a whole lot, so we were eating the time. And then we had another bad rejoin, except we avoided most of it.
Elaborate the rejoin. Is that rejoin from the pits?
No, off-track rejoins.
Oh,
people making mistakes and rejoining the track in a bad way.
Oh, them, not you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of our driving was pretty smooth. We had the only things I could think of, a few slowdowns for some of the guys, which is pretty common around this track. But no major accidents or contact. I think I gave everyone a heart attack at one point. That was kind of funny.
You gave somebody a heart attack, Vanzi? How so? What happened?
Yeah, it was everyone that was spotting. It was after the Porsche curves, passing a GT3 car. Like, all I heard was Jules just like suck in a bunch of air. It was pretty funny.
And I guess that the lads are very impressed, of course, because you're the Americana invading the OCE down under, but doing a good job once again. Remember, I told you, Vanzi, that these are a great bunch of blokes, and so far proven very well, of course. So P7 you guys are currently at the moment, starting from plump last.
Yeah, I've been enjoying seeing that, because like throughout my stints and the time that I was really on the pit wall spotting and things like that, we were able to pull up to, at one point we were fighting with P4.
Yeah, I think I kind of woke up for a second, looked at the computer and went back to bed, but yeah, it was somewhere around there, right?
Yeah, so like, I think when I handed off the car we were P6 or 7, but like the spread between P4 to P8 was less than 30 seconds.
Wow.
So
how many hours in the race was that?
10 to 12.
Okay. Yeah, we're 15, almost 16 hours in this race. We must have clicked over 16 right now.
I was just going to say,
oh, yep, go ahead, Jess.
Apologies. Nice seeing you again, Vance. I'm just going to head back to the team because I think they need some help with spotting. But thanks for the interview, Biggles, and I'll try and catch you before we finish up.
Yeah, thank you very much there, JS. Good luck in your P5 currently in the moment there for the OCE Racing Team Black and the Split 7. So, good luck, mate. Keep it up.
See you guys later.
Don't break a leg.
Later.
Break a leg's in theatre, but don't, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll load the load cell up really hard now.
No.
So
you got your coffee, mate, so you guys will be perked up and ready to go, right?
I've got my large Macca's coffee that I actually got for free, but they charge $6 for delivery. So
what? Well, wow. Yeah, that don't happen in the States, does it, Vance? You can charge $6 for delivery. Anyway, we'll let you go, JS. Keep up the great work, mate.
Catch you later. See you guys.
I charge like $20 for delivery here.
What? Okay. But continue, Vanzi, on that stint as well that you're doing. So I chatted to Julesy before. He said, I was talking about what's Vanzi done. That's Vanzi. I'm curious to see how Vanzi panned out in this one. He's like, yeah, Vanzi did a good job. So happy.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And what about the position you think realistically? Because I asked Julesy about this. Do you think a podium's up for grabs here? Not
anymore.
No?
I mean, it's a long shot. Things have to happen in front of us for that to happen.
Okay.
We're a lap down from the nearest competitor. So things have to happen in front of us for us to really catch up. I mean, we're talking about, that's a 3-minute lap. It's not like we're a minute behind. but that being a lap. No, this is a 3 minute something lap.
Well, it's a good chance,
So-
mate, in a endurance race or something happening.
Endurance
have you
race,
seen
anything
those
can
lap
happen.
times that John's been cranking in at the moment? Look at that. Last lap time at 3:35. The blokes up the road, he's been basically essentially 2 to 3 seconds a lap quicker than them for at least since I started the stream, really.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to make up 3 minutes and 30 something seconds.
Don't
I
judge the Aussie guys.
I say P6, P5 maybe.
Okay.
But like I said, drastic things have to happen in front of us for that to really change. And this late in the race,
They're late.
A
It's
lot
still
of-
8 hours.
yeah, but we're 2/3 into the race.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, mate, I was quickly checking on Taco. You know Taco, you race with Taco,
Yeah.
the Taco man. He's like, he specifically mentioned, I'm beating Vanzi. And that's what I actually DM'd you and said, he's beating you. And then I realized he was in a hypercar. So, yes, of course he's going to be beating. I believe he's running second or third. I asked him, actually, if he wanted to come and have a quick yarn with us so he could explain what's happening with his team. But he's streaming, so he's got his work to do. He's stepped out of the car and
Yep. They're currently sitting P2.
P2. Let's have a look at their car at the moment.
Yep.
I think Zach. Do you know this driver at the moment that's driving pulling that machine? 'Cause you used to be in the team as well,
No.
too, right? No.
No. He, as far as I know, he joined. Like, it's not his team. He joined in another team.
Okay. Yep, and they chose the hypercar. Now, your favorite car? I mean, I know that John, that's piloting this machine at the moment, has done all the setups for that one, and Vanzi, of course. So how are you finding John's setups for your LMP2 car?
There's a little bit to get used to right out of the gate, but it was. I mean, it's been good. The car's very consistent, very easy on tires for me, anyways. If we had to go back to the days of double stinting tires and things like that, there's no problems with that setup.
Yeah, and the man knows to set up in real life, as obviously as you met him and chatted to him. So I'll have a chat to him as he's supposed to be out of the car soon, actually, I believe. That Jules should be stepping as Jules left about 15-20 minutes ago, so he can get ready for that one.
He should be back now. Last I knew, he was back. So, yeah, Jules is going to take over the car for his final stints.
And Jules has been quite good. I mean, you guys have got away with a lot of good luck that there always is in a motor race, as well as some great concentration. And you know that for a fact there. I was speaking about this earlier there, Vanzi, that you guys have been putting some serious practice in. I remember for the Discord in the last couple of weeks, it's like practice, isn't it?
Yeah, that was actually really nice. They get together something. I mean, for me, it was nights. I don't know what it was for them.
Yeah,
very early morning stuff. Like, seems weird. But it was good to because the way that they were doing it with the setup to build the setup is they were taking notes of what the car feels like and things like that and what it could need. And
very serious. I told you, mate. You were talking to me going, hey, I know you love endurance races and you put a lot of work into it, and you're like, Biggles is there a good endurance team, I'm like, OC blokes, mate. That's it. At the chat there, sorry, Will, I missed that one. He says, what team is Eckers on? Team. Now, are you talking about the driver? I can't find
Eckers. No, Eckers is on purple.
Oh, yeah, we're on the purple. John's driving the machine. Is it you're talking about Eckers is in the driver?
Eckers is on the purple team.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
When is Eckers driving again?
I don't have the schedule.
All right, that's fine. I'm throwing on the spotlight at the moment.
Give me a second.
Yeah, you're right, man. No rush.
If I was on my other computer, I'd have it.
Fancy, we got 8 hours, mate. It's absolutely no rush on that one. I just wanted to answer Will's question out there. Hello. It's Peanuts.
Yes, Eckers is going to be driving again.
All right, cool. There you go, Will.
is driving. Yeah, Eckers is going to be driving after Jules.
All right, and Jules will be in soon. Now, when are you expecting John, currently piloting this machine, to box?
Within the next 2 or 3 laps.
Okay. Got a bit of clear air around him, no problems. Don't see much traffic there. John's car looks good, mind you. Just a little bit of grubbiness on the front of it, but don't worry about that. There's no car washes available. There's a KFC drive-through a little bit down.
I was just gonna say, there's a KFC drive-through.
Yeah,
We can hit that real quick.
Yeah, down one of the main the main straightaway. Of course, there is a KFC drive-through, but I don't know, John. You don't really want to risk it for the biscuit here. John has spun a couple of times, or little tricky moments out of that final corner there. I wanted to ask you that, Vance. Has that been catching some of the drivers off?
The final corner?
Yeah, the one before you get on the straightaway.
It can.
Through the S, like the little tiny S's and stuff like that, and then he had a little bit of a spinneroo moment, but thankfully did not contact the fence. The fence did not contact him.
I mean, that could be a tricky set of corners to navigate well.
I think you were sleeping or something at the point there, Vance, when you were away for a minute.
Well, yeah, I think funny. John was in the car to start, which I was asleep for, and he's in the car, which I went and took a little nap and took care of some things around the apartment now. So
you're not working today, thankfully. I hope.
No.
All right, you're going to see it through the end, do you think, mate? Because it'll be about 7, 8 in the morning, I think, for us in the Americas.
No, I'm definitely going to be taking another nap.
Okay.
It's 10 o'clock right now for me, and I don't have any more responsibility if we stick to the schedule.
All right, he's going in the box right now. Here it is, John. Hit the braking point now. To talk about this pit stop entrance there, real quick, Vance.
I mean, it's
pretty much done. Isn't it?
It's pretty much exactly like. I mean, it's a pit entry. I mean, it's no different than most of the other ones. I mean, obviously you have the chicane, but that's really just to slow the cars down. Braking point is pretty similar to what you would brake for the first chicane. It's just you're slowing down a lot more because it's a first gear, and then speed back up to slow back down.
Yeah, a little blink there because Jules is swapped into the car, so that it's up in the jacks there, taking some tires, taking some fuel. He spotted the braking marker correctly. Now, I do apologize on the spectator menu. We don't see the lollipop man or woman, but I did realize because I had to cast a race the other day in iRacing from a replay because I had technical issues, and it's the first time I actually get to see the lollipop man. I'm like, wow, there's a lollipop man there and all that sort of jazz. So it's quite exciting. I wish they would show that in the spectator menu, but they don't.
It is what it is.
Peanuts, I know you're in here, and I'm not. Yeah, we're going to get to chat to you as well there, Peanuts. And Peanuts, you've been driving in the OC Black racing team, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and I had a yarn there from JS just before. You guys been doing quite good. P5, right?
Yeah, from that last after qualifying to P5, it's looking really, really nice.
Do you think you guys are going to be able to beat the OC Purple racing team?
Well, I can't say anything about that because they are the fast guys and we are the keep it safe guys.
You're still in the same class. You're still in a class of according to the field of strength. So if you do better, you will have some bragging rights.
Fingers crossed. I would think our upper hand is that we try our best to avoid incidents. Although we've been sloppy a few times, it's been alright. It's been really, really good.
Yeah, you haven't been sloppy. I mean, JS posted a little clip there that scared me before when he had to avoid one of the incidents up the road. That's the common thing you have to do in an endurance race.
We've been living on our motto of being vegan against
vegan. And you guys have a little bit of rear wing damage, I believe, right? Just a little bit?
Yeah. Right now, we're still like slowly getting it around by we're double stinting the tires so that we can work on the optionals.
Okay.
But otherwise, the car it's a bit draggy. But otherwise, it's just fine as it is.
So you're losing a few kilometers in your top speed, really.
Yeah, on the top speed, yeah. So it's really, really hard to follow.
Yeah. Bunzi, you've dealt with that situation before, right? With a bit of damage on the car. Do you think they're just doing it right there, mate? Just just taking little snippets.
I mean,
at a time?
depending, yeah. So it depends on how much damage and how much it's affecting the car. Double stinking the tires is definitely a viable option, especially through the night, to really focus on the repairs of the car. If you can manage the tires through both stints. Like I said, it really depends on how much you want to, how much damage you have to really mitigate, because with just fixing repairs, you're looking at 30 to 40 seconds of repairs fixed through a pit stop that is not taking tires.
Yeah, if you double stint, you don't have to take tires every time. No, you just take tires once. Sorry.
Well, so the whole thing is the car doesn't get fixed when it's on the jacks.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah. Well, so as soon as the tires are done being replaced, that's when repairs on the car start.
Oh. So all these endurance races later, no, that.
Yeah. So that's why you double stint tires, so you could focus on the repairs, because that way when you pull in and they start fueling, they start fixing immediately because they don't have to replace tires. So like if you're taking tires and fixing damage, you're only really fixing about 10 to 15 seconds worth of damage, right? Whereas if you do it, if you're just taking fuel, they'll fix 30 to 40 seconds worth of damage.
This is what you drivers out there know. That's what our spectators out there, anybody tuning in, of course, do not know. But then again, Buns is just explaining exactly how it pans out as a racing driver. Beautiful looking 51 machine we're spotting at the moment, as Jules is in control of at the moment. Giuliano.
He's out there.
Hey, and of course, well, this is one thing I was going to say. Hopefully we can get John in here, because I love picking your brain to pieces there, John. And I hope you had a little bit of bathroom break and stuff like that. Fantastic run, I'd have to say, mate. About 2 seconds change quicker per lap of the drivers up the road. How was your stint?
Yeah, not too bad actually. I mean, I had a little moment here or there, and
Final chicane moment, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely a final chicane moment. That was a good one, but overall not too bad. Kept the car clean, no incidents. Just went around in circles basically.
Yep, you did. But you did it quite quickly compared to those drivers. Now, you a little bit off the pace, I have to say, for the drivers in P1, P2, and the class, but you were definitely quicker than those drivers up the road from you. So just nippling a little bit at a time. As P3 goes in. Go ahead.
Yes, no, I'm definitely been a bit off the top tier pace a fair bit whole way through, but yeah, starting to get more comfortable with the car. It's just all laps at the end of the day, so it's been a bit busy doing setup adjustments and things like that for me to really dial in my own driving lately.
And you were the man that has set this machine up on both those machines, so I've heard great things about your car setup, of course, your actual real-life experience. How's that? Is he more proud for you to have this machine that the drivers have all managed to handle quite well and not have any major incidents with it?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I feel pretty good about this setup at the moment. It's actually got a fair bit of pace and it's relatively flexible, so you can push in a variety of conditions, which is really good. Feedback's been generally positive about it. I think there's definitely more to extract out of it, but no, it's been doing good. I think it's probably one of the better ones I've come up with for this car so far.
And that's from your real life experience too, mate. You can get on there and tweak anything you need to do. Currently, at the moment, the car up the road is just boxing. I think it just came out of the box, so you may be under that lap soon in that P7. Overall, your performance. Remember, you guys did start plump last as well as Peanuts and the other OCE-RL Black team have started. They're in P5, you guys currently in P7. Yeah, I'd be pretty happy with those results at the moment. And a question I did ask both everybody here this evening, John, to you, is a podium possible?
Look, it'll be not easy at this point in time. We were definitely on for it before the incident, where unfortunately we hit a car that was rejoining. I would, if it had been before that point, I would have said absolutely, 100%. We absolutely would have been in the go for P3. It's not outside the realms of possibility. There's still a significant amount of time to go, and if we can keep it clean through to the end of the race, I imagine that we're at least going to end up in P5. But yeah, a little bit of luck and a little bit of magic. I reckon, there's still a possibility there.
There are some rumours at the moment, the YS Simsport that's leading in your class, and by the way, the second place in your class at the moment, just at the fastest lap of your element, was 3:32.4. There was a bit of a rumour out there saying that they were sandbagging. Any confirmation on that one, or any of your opinion?
I've heard rumours. I've had a bit of a read in the majors chat around some things that have gone on, and in my experience, at least right now, I think one of their defensive points around that was that the track state in pre-quali and qualifying for the race itself was significantly different. But I'd actually argue that the majority of drivers have gone quicker in pre-quali than what they did in actual race qualifying condition. When you have these multi-split classes and people who I suppose are relatively quick, you're bound to end up with people who are going to maybe sandbag out a little bit and put themselves in a position where they're going to be comfortably faster than everybody else around them. So yeah, it's interesting. I'll be interested to see what comes of this.
Well, we're talking about this team at the moment, YS Simsport, I believe. There's also a question out there for Peanuts and Barnes as well. And my question was kind of like, why would you do it? I mean, if you are obviously way, way quicker, if they essentially could be in a tier 3 or maybe tier 2 or whatever, would you sandbagging just essentially to go, how we got the race win, no problems in this split? But to me, like, as playing sports and stuff like that, don't you want to beat the best and not just beat people that you may feel that in a different class behind you?
You should, 100%. Unless you're competing and learning from people that are better than you, you're never going to improve personally. I think it's something that you find a lot in competitive online shooters as well. You'll find a lot of people who tend to, create what they call a Smurf account or, drop themselves down deliberately to compete in lower levels despite having a higher skill tier. And they tend to sort of rock it up.
That, mate? I mean, come on. It's like getting Michael Jordan or Max Verstappen here and go, I'm going to compete in tier 5. If Max's name was here in a heartbeat, everybody's like, yeah, Max is sandbagging. But then again, we don't know the drivers. But what's the thrill of beating everybody where you essentially know that your team can do it? It seems to me like it's just a waste of your talent.
We'll never actually know because we don't think like that.
Okay,
that's the problem.
What it could be is just bragging rights. That's the thing. Like,
I think
I beat a bunch of people easily. And just, look, I'm just really good. But in reality, they're far from that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, come next year, they're gonna be like, oh, we won our split last year. Nobody's gonna care which split. They're gonna see that they won.
I can understand maybe sometimes if there's sponsorships and stuff like that behind them, they, it looks good for the sponsors and they go, yep, look this, maybe throw some more money at us because we're obviously dominating. I could see a monetary aspect to that.
I don't know very many sponsors that would be okay with split 5.
Yeah, true. On that one, I was about to say, that was my next question, isn't it? Like,
now we talk about split 4 where they are casting split 4. They're doing more with split 4 and above. Okay, a little bit more understandable, but split 5 and below, like, this is our opportunity to build the knowledge so that next year we can push harder to get into split 4.
So if they were capable of a split 4, they would have been there. So it means that they probably might not be sandbagging then, because if they obviously looking for spotlight.
But who's to say that's where they wanted to be?
Oh, true. We'll have to put them in for an interview after the race. I'm going to ask themselves. Unfortunately, I can't do that. But the driver in P2 setting another fastest lap, guys. Look at that. Another fastest lap there from Simon. Is it German? Or he's driving number 8. German Swiss
Conditions.
play.
Yeah, the conditions out there are ideal at the moment. It's really
was
good
gonna
track.
say.
And
Yeah, level of temperature at the moment. I'm going to pull that up at the moment because it is.
We've actually-
I saw some things with some of the drivers. Like there were times that, to me, it definitely seemed like they were sandbagging. Not to say that they were. It just when you had the leader that, like, you're offset on pits and they are behind you, and then all of a sudden they're in front of you, and then you have to pass them again. Because of the pit rotation, to me is just. There were some oddities that I saw with that team that make me raise questions.
They just set at 3:34 on the last lap. Now Simon in the P2 after they set the fastest lap earlier at 3:37. Now you have to give it to Jules. He's got a 3:36. That was about 3:36 through 3:35 that you were doing consistently, right there, Mr. John?
Yeah. I mean, the car's comfortably capable of going quite faster, and in somebody's hands who's comfortable pushing it that much further.
Real quick, I want to
certainly was
ask a
not.
question. Sorry to cut you off because I have to rejoin my SDK stuff. It doesn't tell me your overall best lap. Do you guys know what your overall best lap has been?
I think we'd be looking 34.
34.7 or 6 was
Okay.
what it was when I got
I got
like,
a
left the session.
34.43 on my telemetry. I don't know if that's accurate, but it might be.
Yeah,
might
that
be.
would be. Yeah, Sex was definitely pushing it out around that point. So
All right.
yeah, we're definitely there.
He had just gotten in the car when I had stepped away, so that makes sense.
And the only lads that have been quicker than you are the ones that are up the road. Really? So you got your P5,
Yeah,
P4,
basically.
P3, they're all in the say 32s that you just saw before. That was the fastest lap set by the driver in the car in P2.
the cars-
That using a track's definitely getting nice for those conditions, isn't it? You can set some purple laps.
Car's definitely capable of some serious times at the moment. So I think if we took it and compared it to where we were last year when we ran Le Mans, the amount of gain and improvement already has been massive.
Where'd you guys finish last year? Just to recap.
I want to say around about 17th or 18th.
Wow, so the big improvement. Same cars? You're doing the LMP2s?
Yeah, same cars. I think we'd already had meatballs by that point, and some some issues around
Aren't you guys vegetarian?
penalties and penalty points. I've told them that we're vegan now.
Yeah,
if,
yeah.
if I see a single meatball, things are going to happen that aren't very nice.
Vanzi, yeah, real quick there. Zach's in there for the Taco Racing team there at the moment. I believe they're P2 there. Sorry to cut you off there because Vanzi and I know Taco, man. He's a great YouTube, Twitch streamer. Vanzi used to race him as well. So we got a little interwar battle going on. Even though we're in a different class.
It was actually kind of funny. There was a point where when both me and Taco were in the car, like he came up to lap me at one point, and he would not stop flashing his lights.
You should have meatballed him, man. Just slam in the side of the taco machine. I was telling him in the chat. I was like, yeah. I'm like, OCE team's gonna take you out, buddy. That's it. That's gonna happen. He's like, Biggles, don't make me ban you.
Yep, I heard that.
Yeah, of course, you guys would never do that. Oh, GT3 is going to be a little bit nasty in the corner. And get on the power. Jules is right on top of that one. Good job. Patience is the key, isn't it, John? I know everybody here actually as well too, Peanuts and all you guys in the OCE-Racing team. They have so much damn patience. It's awesome. That's the reason why you do well in these endurance races.
Definitely been drilled into people. I think it's a big ethos is just learning that maybe dropping a couple of tenths behind a GT3 isn't nearly as bad as costing yourself 2.5 minutes in repairs. So just a little bit of caution and a little bit of patience and a cool head is definitely going to go a long way.
Yeah.
Maybe this cool head didn't happen for this driver, and that's cooked it where onto the marbles. That's Jose. I'm not sure
So-
you guys are actually looking at the little pictures that I have at the moment. Gets back on track, thankfully. A little bit off the racing line, but also at 2 seconds.
It's not
or
too
so.
bad. It's
Yeah.
so easy to do down there as well. Just, a little bit too late on the brake or holding too much going into the corner. And the car wants to rotate at the rear, or it just understeers off horribly.
Now, give me... you know what? I know, John, you've been driving for hours. Either anybody's available, Vanzi, Peanuts, or John. I need a hot lap guide around this track. So I'll go on board the cockpit right now, and obviously Jules has to get past this GT3 here.
Yeah, I can give you a little fresh
John,
one
I
off
would
of that.
love that if you give me a hot lap around here.
I'll wait for him to get past the GT3 there, nice and easy.
All right, mate, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Alrighty.
And let me pull up the dashboard as well too, so you can actually see the information there. So you get the gears. Go ahead, mate. Here we go.
Oh, we've
About to
got
start a
mile
lap.
an hour too.
Oh.
Through the last chicane, up over the curbs, we want to get a little bit of bumps here to help rotate the car. Hard onto the throttle, coming out of the curbing. Heading up to turn 1 now. We need to run wide on the outside and then cut in. So Jules is going to take it pretty wide here, cut in pretty aggressively into the curb, get the car straightened up, hard onto the brakes, down to second gear. Again, early entry, both of these chicane corners, and it's important to get easy on the throttle. Very easy to get a slowdown there on the exit. Guiding the car through the Dunlop curves now. Quick flick down to third gear, turn it in, get it to hold, and then start stamping back on the throttle again. Gently manage the car through here, and this is the fastest part onto the Mulsanne. Quick lift, turn, back on the throttle, full speed. We'll start building up to VMAX now, which will be approximately 312 to 330 kilometers an hour, about 190 mile an hour, give or take. This point here, it's a good opportunity to rest, move your brake leg around, get ready for the braking zone. We're looking for the braking markers on the left. We've got 150, 150 meters. We're basically stamping on it right at the end. Get it down, a little bit of a wiggle into the corner there, second gear. Try and pick up your traction without oversteering onto the exit. Maintaining your momentum through the chicanes on the Mulsanne is incredibly important. Opportunity for another rest again. Sit here, have a look at your relative, check your mirrors, wipe your brow. Hope nobody's about to rear end you as you come into the next chicanes. Looking for the braking markers on the right hand side. Bill's going to bring it up once again, 190 mile an hour, hard onto the brake, down to third gear. Get it turned in, find second before the next corner. Well, a little bit tight there, very easy to get a slowdown if you're not too careful. Again, traction on exit is really, really important. If you get a little bit too much wheel spin, you'll cost yourself a significant amount of time. Last section of the Mulsanne, coming into a really, really fast sweeping right-hander. Got to get on the brakes a little bit early, get the car straightened up, make sure that you get the car turned in for the tight right-hander here. So all the way over to the left. It's going to bring it in first gear. Very nice, very tidy on the accelerator. It's definitely starting to hustle the car a fair bit now. You can see it moving around under brakes and through the middle of the corner. Probably need to look at dropping tyre pressures in the next pit stop. Again, a little bit of a brake. Coming up on a GT3 car, so we want to be cautious of coming into Indianapolis, which is a very, very fast right-hander. It's a little bit of a lift or a flick down in the gear if you're feeling cautious. Jules is going to just lift through, down, hard into the left-hander here, second gear. Try and ride the camber, don't get too aggressive on the exit. Right-hander, basically the worst corner on the entire track. First gear, get it turned in, not too much curb. Again, careful on the traction on exit. You can take the GT3 quite comfortably now coming into the Porsche curves. A little bit of time to set yourself up. You're looking for the left-hand marker, and the left-hand marker is essentially just past the grass. So we'll see the concrete go grass and then concrete. And Jules is just going to tip it in, fifth gear, hold on to it, stand back on the throttle. The car has got plenty of grip through here. You can really ride it, and when you're getting the line perfect, it feels amazing. Fourth gear, a little bit of a clumsy corner, trying to get it back over to the right. Left-hander, a little bit lazy. We should have gotten in a smidge earlier there, but he's kept it within the white side, inside the white line, which is where a slowdown is. Back up over, you've got pit entry on your right. You're looking for the end of the pit entry, down to third gear. Right up over the curbs, back down to first. Again, bump steer, get onto the throttle real hard. A little bit of counter steering there, definitely hustling that car. And we've got a 30, what do we get out of that? 34.7, so not too bad there. Definitely pushing the car pretty hard at the moment.
That was absolutely
Well
brilliant.
done.
John. I really
was
enjoyed that.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm actually going to clip that, my friend, and upload it somewhere along the line of my Twitter to get an expert engineer for motor racing cars there to give you a hot lap around Le Mans. Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed that, man. Yeah, good job. And,
That was
yeah.
engaging.
And he even mentioned adjusting the tire pressures. Now, what will that do, actually? Just to elaborate that more to dummies like me.
So, with Jules working the car quite hard into the corners, what he's doing is generating a fair bit of friction and heat, which is bringing the pressure up. It's causing the tyre to balloon. And in the middle of the corner, we really want the tyre to deform a little bit to ride, all the little undulations and bumps in the road. It's probably a little bit too high in pressure at the moment, so when he comes into the pit, he's going to drop his pressure down. I've actually already instructed him to do that. And that'll just help the tyre cope a little bit better with the speeds that he's currently doing.
So
As you can see, a little bit of wiggle on exit there, nothing too bad, but dropping the pressures is going to help mitigate those little moments.
You just told him when you were doing the hot lap or before?
Oh no, before I hopped on. So,
it's like, damn,
so we're actually
tasking.
Yeah, no, we're actually running asymmetrical pressures too. So the left side of the car has lower pressure than the right.
Oh.
Been a
talking
been
alien language to me, mate. Asymmetrical tire pressures. Okay.
Yep. So left side of the car has lower tire pressure than the right because we're on a clockwise circuit.
Interesting.
Yep. So we're loading the left side a bit more.
Yeah.
Not quite to those levels. That's some impressive stuff that they do for Indy 500.
I know Will Weisberg that does the engineering for the Roman Grosjean's team currently at the moment. He switched over from the Maya Shank team. Right. So yeah, I only get you two guys together to crunch some numbers. You'd have a lot of fun. Pitbull. So
probably start talking about all kinds of things like dampers and springs and
he'll talk to you blue and black and teeth or whatever you call it. That one for sure.
I probably have more questions. Yeah, more questions for him about IndyCar, and I'm sure he'd have quite a few for me.
Yeah, he does know the road cars that you handle, mate, my friend. And just to recap that there, John, because we've spoken about this before, but when people are tuning into the stream to watch this one later, John, elaborate to everybody around the world all the different sports cars you worked on in your career and still working on.
Yeah, it's been a variety. If we start with the basics, it's been, I'll run through the Formula cars. We've got Formula Ford, Formula 3, S5000, Formula Regional Oceania, which is formerly known as TRS, which is basically a Eurospec car, Formula 4. And then in sports cars, I've done a number of different things now. V8 supercars from the VE, VF, and ZB eras, and GT3 as well, so AMG GT3s, Audis, and a little bit of LMP3, Leisure LMP3s.
You never touched these LMP2 cars yet?
No, we don't run anything like an LMP2 in Australia. LMP3 is one of our fastest in the prototype series, so I would absolutely adore to get my hands on one of those, so.
What would you do if you got your hands on one of these beasts?
You know what I would do? I'd get my hands on the Wheels.
Oh, Will's back! And Will's back because let's let everybody know, Will's been streaming this whole thing from the start on his Twitch channel. I was wondering where you were.
Does it involve nuts and bolts? Because we'll have a very similar answer then.
I just set an alarm for every 4 hours because I actually woke up because I went to bed and then I woke up and I noticed that all of a sudden the stream wasn't on. I was like, what the fuck? Or what the heck? You know what I mean? And it kicked me out of the lobby for being AFK after 6 hours. So I made sure to set an alarm for every 6 hours so I can actually make sure the stream is still on. So there's 15 minutes. My spidey sense was tingling, so there's 15 minutes of the stream that's just missing.
You didn't miss anything, my friend. I kept checking the Twitch to see what was happening at the moment, and you're doing a great job. Yeah, and Will's broadcast is a little bit probably spicier and nicer than mine. But did you have John chatting to you for the last 20 minutes? John, by the way, John did a fantastic job in his stint as well too, and Jules is doing a good job too, don't you, John?
I saw that collision, by the way.
Oh, all right.
That was very unlucky.
What time was that?
I don't remember. I think it was maybe 4 or 5 o'clock or something.
Oh,
It
as
was.
in, you know what lap it was? We're on
lap
was-
208, if memory serves.
All right. Well,
yeah,
you
it
got good memory.
was Tran, right?
Yeah, yep, Martin,
Yeah,
or Sex as he's called.
yeah. He was driving, and there was another car. It was actually from. I don't know which team it was, but one of the teams rolled back up and just drove straight.
Oh, he said he
into-
reversed, didn't he? Yeah.
No, he didn't reverse.
Oh.
He just drove straight to the apex.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a pretty.
It was egregious.
I can't
Yeah.
show the replay, unfortunately, that one, because I joined a little bit later on after that. But trust me, rewind Will's Twitch stream to that moment, and you'll be able to find it. So, yeah, don't you worry about it, guys. You think you can get away with it? Will's got his eyes on you.
Well, they've been given a 60-second stop-go penalty, so they have been penalised pretty, pretty appropriately given the nature of the incident.
John, I got another question
Yeah.
for you, mate. In all those cars you've worked with, the extensive history of cars and your experience that you have, you know, young chicken, of course, but you're not a wise old fox. What would be your favourite car that you've ever worked on?
Oh, geez, that's a pretty difficult question, actually.
That's why I asked it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Toyota Race Series car, the little open wheeler that was made by an Italian company called Tartarus, and it was just a beautifully designed, well engineered, easy to work on car. Everything was well finished. It was incredibly good equipment. It's just a delight. It's just a lovely little car to work on, basically.
And why is that
That
specifically?
incident.
Because what are the challenges you had working on that car?
Well, I think sometimes depending on the engineer that's designed the vehicle, accessing parts of the car that you would use to set up changes or fixing can be quite difficult. There's some cars that if you want to make a ride height change where you're adjusting what they call the push rods, the linkage between the wheel and the suspension, you actually have to take covers off to do that. But with these cars, they sit just outside the covers, and with a couple of spanners and relatively quickly, you can actually change and adjust things.
Oh, so you like the fact that you can just almost like a pit road, as we're looking at Jack going a little bit hexagon-y around the corner there. But he'd like to get back on there. You like that little pun?
It's like, he's gone from a hexagon and he squared it back up, so it's not too bad.
Oh, there it is. See,
Surprised he didn't come full circle.
This is why I love casting with Aussies, mate. Yeah, I can throw a pun out there. They'll throw 10 puns back at me. Love it. But yeah, continuing that, John, is to say you like that little Toyota beast. By the way, what is your car collection? Do you have an extensive car collection? How was your garage looking?
My garage is pretty basic, to be honest. I drive a nice little 2.4 litre Lancer and
Toyota
gets good fuel
Lancer?
economy.
Nice.
Yeah, I like my Mitzies. I used to.
Can I
when
send
I
you
was
my
younger, I had
GTR Skyline 32 and you can tune it up for me? No, I don't have it anymore. I
Yeah.
sold it, but yeah. Yeah.
That's a shame. I like the Skylines.
I would send it straight to you, John. Like, here you go. Make this baby go quicker. Let's see if I can crack the Bathurst record that the GTR Skyline did back in the day. Going quicker, yeah. So, what about the V8 supercars? You mixed it with them. Like, how much of a challenge are they?
They're not too bad, but there's a lot of work involved with them, and particularly with supercars, making adjustments to, they're all inboard, so if you need to make a spring change, which we would quite often do during qualifying sessions, you're reaching over a giant brake rotor, which is often still about 500 or 600 degrees Celsius. Yeah, big heat shields. I've still got one or two burn marks from the early days of working on those.
Oh yeah, you're a true engineer of your burn marks.
where they've singed me, but yeah, you reach around and you kind of, there's a lot of blind doing up of nuts and bolts, so you're not actually looking at what you're doing, you're just reaching and doing it all by feel. Can make it pretty difficult.
It's not like when you work on. I remember working on top of engines when I was younger, of course. Back in the day when they were a lot less complicated. But you drop the nut. You're like, God damn it! And you have to try to find it. It didn't land on the ground. It's landed somewhere in the engine bay. Any of those moments? Give me one of these moments that during maybe a race weekend or whatever, and you've saved the day. It's come down to you. John has done a miracle there, and the team's gone back out there, and you've just performed out everything, and you look at yourself going, "Hey, this is what I do. I'm John."
I can give you a supercars one. One of the Super 2 cars I worked on got rear-ended at Bathurst, essentially, and came into the pits, and we replaced the rear toe link, which controls the direction that the wheel is facing on the rear of the car. And then the rear boot lid was up with a spoiler on it. And we were trying to get it down. It wasn't going into the pin because it's got a pin that locks it in place.
Just to let everybody know, in America, sorry, the boot is the trunk. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, trunk of the car.
We watch movies, okay?
Yeah. And yeah, that got fixed with a big hammer. So.
Oh, so it's true. You get is it a rubber hammer or the hammer? Metal hammer or rubber hammer?
Oh no! To get a nice big solid dead blow. We do have a big sledge as well for emergency situations, but yeah.
And then you drive it back out. Where did it end up finishing?
Not too bad. I think he ended up in 13th, which wasn't too bad. Actually, on that one, we did.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think what we did do in that race that probably got us up. So we did what we call Super in Super 2 pit stops are a little bit different to main series supercars. And we had ours down to probably about 20 seconds, which is about 10 seconds quicker than anyone else. So we jumped all three cars about 10 spots during the middle of the race, basically.
Because of you.
Yeah, well, me and the other person doing pit stops.
Yeah. Was it your decision to do that? I mean, you got team bosses and stuff like that. They go, John, slam the hammer in there and fix that. Or you just you didn't have to tell you that. You just do it because you know exactly what needs to be done.
That's your responsibility. So when you're mechanicking and you're the number one, it's your responsibility to make those calls, essentially, to look at the car and go.
Did the driver and the team give you a big, cheer you and thank you for the great job you did to deliver that result?
I think afterwards, everyone sort of comes together and reviews it, and there's, you pick out your high points and your low points from what happened. During the moment, you're pretty revved up. It's just all adrenaline. So.
And if I was Ferrari, Mercedes, or Red Bull, and you're about to put your application in, would that be one of those highlights you would put on your resume?
I think you would definitely talk about moments where you've reacted well under pressure, because that's a key point that you look for in people. Is the ability to calmly control what's going on around you and make snap decisions. Yeah.
Do you think you're good at what would be your skill set, actually, John? This is almost like I'm interviewing you for a job. But I'm not. I told you I was going to pick your brain, mate, and I'm always going to pick your brain because I love that you don't get to talk to people that have been involved in motorsports like this behind the scenes.
My biggest skill set is I have a very holistic approach. So, I've done mechanical, I've done engineering, I've been in the position of a driver and a coach. So I have a relatively good insight into all of the major aspects of what goes into motorsport and into racing. So it makes it very easy to be able to understand the effects of whatever decision you make onto different aspects of it.
And in the pit stops at the moment goes Jules.
Yep, should be coming in.
Yeah.
Lower tyre pressure.
Going to be Jules? Yeah. So you're saying Jules? Go ahead and explain this pit stop.
Yeah, so we don't get it animated for us, but in real life, obviously, you'd pull up onto the marks. They would shove an air spike into it because there's jacks built into the car that would raise it up off the ground. You'd have your wheelmen, essentially, the guys who are going to run around, rip the wheels off, pop some new ones on. Depending on the stage of the race, they might even replace brakes. And at least in endurance racing, my understanding is that you can do fuel and tyres at the same time.
Yes, they did.
But no repairs. We just heard that before from Barnes.
No repairs. No, not at the same time as what they're doing.
If it's on the jacks, Barnes was saying.
Yeah, correct. They actually need to drop it onto a dolly.
Now he's dropped down. What's happening? Just fuel now?
Yeah, just fuel tyres are done, so just be waiting for fuel and he'll pull away.
Would you have taken any repairs, do you think?
No, I don't believe we had anything left
Okay, nice.
to do in terms of repairs.
Good
So
pit stop in and out right now. Jules has got that all covered at the moment. You'll be very proud of that man.
So how is the
He's
car
doing-
been
he's
driving
doing-
for you guys? Any lingering effects from those unfortunate collisions, or is the steering wheel all straightened out?
the steering wheel is not straight. It's
Let's have a
definitely
look.
10.
We'll ride
It's
on
10
board.
degrees down to the left. So if you watch him down the straight, you'll see that he's actually going to hold the wheel down to the left side of the car. Maybe when we get onto the Mulsanne, we'll see a good little view of that.
Do you have a little like angle out here? Yeah, we're gonna wait obviously until it gets to the straightaway, but 10 degrees, man.
Apologize.
I don't think
I'm
you
making
can
a
see
burger, so
What? Sorry, Squill.
said I apologize. I'm making a burger. I'm not currently downstairs.
Oh, here, it looks straight
Same
here, mate. You say it is a little slide, isn't it?
You can
Yep,
feel it
so
when you're
you'll-
driving.
You'll pull it over and you'll see it a bit more here, probably now.
Yeah, there
you
it
go.
is. You can see it, can't you? Yeah.
Yep.
Little turn to the left, tiny. But he's pointing dead straight.
Yeah. Yeah, the car's going straight. He just needs to hold it to the left because he
So you
I
don't
imagine
feel
that
it's
left wheel
it's
is-
worth the time to repair that.
We've actually taken our full set of repairs, so there's nothing left to do.
Oh.
iRacing, I suppose the client considers that the car is
Huh.
straight and good to go.
Let's look at Ian's car's not very straight at the moment. It
I
just,
don't-
I hope
I
you
don't
got to
think
roll
this-
back on track. Oh, Ian,
I don't think
no.
the steering column's a repairable thing anymore. So if you actually bend the actual steering column, you can't repair it. You can repair the suspension, but not the steering column anymore, I
Ah.
don't believe.
There's a way around that in real life, and it involves a big hammer.
Yes.
Yeah. And luckily, of course, the OCE racing team have John. He's got the hammer ready. He'll bang it out.
Well, just, hop over to iRacing, get over to the servers, and throw your digital hammer in there.
I believe we've moved up to 6th.
You are
mistaken.
correct at the moment. No, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right,
you got-
sir.
no, they're
Yeah,
six right now.
in fact, you're almost going to be quicker than one of the hypercar classes.
So,
Hypercars.
quick question here. Realistically, do you guys think you can get this top 5? 7 hours to go?
I believe so. If we keep the car clean and just go around, I imagine that we'll, there'll definitely be 1 or 2 more incidents ahead of us. That just generally happens. The key is not getting caught up in anything. And pace-wise, we're doing pretty good at the moment. So if we maintain a consistent pace, we'll generally bring it back in. There is a bit of a question because we had to take that pit stop with the incident, whether we might be a little bit up at the end of the race. So we need to look at time because we might be able to get away with 1 less pit stop than what everyone else has to do, essentially.
Absolutely.
We'll keep an eye on that because Jules's last pit stop, of course, was in the pit road. We'll keep an eye on the car up the road. That's in P5, essentially. That's a 4.34. Now, I didn't believe they boxed. I wonder if they made a mistake, mate. That's a very, very slow lap. 334 for the Grizzly Motorsports. We'll see what
That would
Jules can do.
surely be a pit stop lap.
Yeah, it must have been, isn't it? I didn't notice that too much, but we'll see at the moment. Jules gets a hot lap in. Gets past the old Ferrari. Safely, of course, not through the corner. No going around the outside, not risking it for the biscuit. And your favourite corner, mate, your corner you love so much that you had a little bit of a moment earlier.
Yeah.
I had to rub that one in for you, John, but you saved it.
No,
Your
no,
fence
no.
didn't hit you. You're okay.
No,
So
I
what was
definitely
the-
get a bit aggressive.
So what was the process like for reporting that incident, by the way, when the other team just drove right on the track and drove in front of you at the entrance to the Dunlop chicanes?
Not too bad. We just needed to do a screen capture of the actual incident,
Mhm.
report both car numbers involved and what lap it occurred on. So there's an official protest channel. So you just upload all that with a brief description,
Did they have
and then
live
it gets
stewarding?
reviewed.
Do they have live stewarding?
Yes.
Oh, great. I love that.
Yeah. Slightly
Even
delayed.
even
I think-
in a tier 5 split.
Yep.
I like it.
They get around to it. It took about half an hour to get.
That's fine.
resolution.
That's better than no live stewarding at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And a couple of leagues that I have casted before actually have live stewards, and some of the leagues that they cast, I'm surprised when you see like major splits and series where they don't have any live stewards. I'm like, come on, man, you can't afford live steward. I mean, you got these tiny little leagues that can get a couple of guys there with all the data to do it. But I like it that they are doing it because it's endurance
think it's
race.
really-
Even if it takes time, so be it, you know. But then
Yeah.
again, you've got time. You're a 24-hour race, 7 hours to go.
It's really important in these events. You know, I think it just maintains the spirit
That's
of
a major
competition.
thing because I know iRacing don't do that outside the top splits.
No, unfortunately not. And you know, we were talking about the sandbagging earlier. There's been plenty of you know, exploits within the sim itself that have been used over the years, and people have only been given slaps on the wrists for it.
It's still
So,
better
you
than
know.
you'd have to say like the R Factor Le Mans. Remember shenanigans
Oh,
that
yeah.
happened last year.
Goodness,
off
goodness,
track and
yes.
stuff like that. Talk to Williams esports teams, stuff like that. You have to still say that iRacing have hooked it all up perfectly. I mean, you know, I cast a lot of different racing simulations, and this is definitely by far my favorite. I'm not a driver, but overall, I think that most people are happy with it, and that's the popularity of it right now, increasing. Look at this series alone. Not even an official iRacing series, yet the majors hooked it up with so many brilliant drivers across so many tiers. And I have to say, so far it's been damn successful. Now, obviously their broadcasting network, I would say, not their best, but
A lot of splits too. 10 splits they got.
10 splits, yeah. I mean, you got to think about that. Look at that. Got 5 or so people per team, 40 or so per each split. Do the math on that. That's a lot.
So it's a lot of manpower, and they've done a pretty good job, all things considered, with that.
And they don't have the big budgets, of course, as some of the other
No,
things.
I imagine iRacing would have supplied the servers for free for this one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
obviously
promoting
a
the hell
big
of their
draw.
product, which is great. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the good thing about iRacing is that they're flexible. They're not like, you know, some of the other racing platforms that are like, oh no, it's legal this, legal that, you can't use this car, you can't use that car, blah 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 blah, you know. And it just put a foul taste in my mouth, literally. Rensport and all those sort of things at the moment. I shouldn't really
Well,
mention this.
closed
I won't
beta,
mention.
though.
I won't mention this on air actually because I'd get myself burnt on that one. But I'm not a fan of Rensport. Put it that way. I'm not a fan.
I've yet to see anything on it, really, to be
Well,
honest.
you
I need
can't
to-
drive it, can you, mate? Because you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
That's the problem, isn't it? It's giving certain
Well,
people
yeah, correct.
exclusive advantages to. I go against anything like that. Even when the Formula One did that, and they still do it. The Formula One esports give a special build out for the Formula One esports drivers to practice for months and months a couple of months in advance. And then everybody else that's trying to get in esports is like a 2-month deficit trying to catch up to an adjusted
Yeah.
model of a game. Come on, that's not fair. Give it to everybody. iRacing gives it to everybody. They don't go, here, we'll give this to just you guys and this team and that team, and then everybody else can like catch up a month later. No, it's even Stevens.
Yeah, agreed. They've, you know, all things considered, with what the platform is and how long it's been running, they do a pretty amazing job of getting everything set up and on parity. And you know, now that they've got a number of World Endurance Championship cars coming in with the next build, it's shaping up to really be, you know, these endurance events are becoming the crown jewels in iRacing's experience, I think.
Another question I'd like to ask is, you know, rain's been lurking on the horizon for a very long time here in iRacing. Now, I know for a fact that iRacing is not pushing to get it done quickly. So, you know, in fact, the longer they take, the more pressure they have, because when they do release it, they're going to get a huge amount of a storm, essentially, of all these, you know, people that have invested so much money in iRacing over the years. They're going to either hate it or like it. That's just the way the world works. That in the past, Facebook, Twitter, and all that sort of stuff, when they make major changes, people either hate it or they like it. It's going to happen. It will happen with the weather model for iRacing. But another question would be, would you, as iRacing, limit a basically beta release and allowing a certain amount of people to give it a spin, a yarn, they get feedback before they publicly release it, or just go balls deep essentially and just go, everybody go for it, and then gives you feedback?
I think they've got, you know, it'll be one of the most significant changes that the game has seen in a very, very long time. And you know, they're obviously doing a fair bit of internal testing with it. to get it right
You
the
got like
first
10
time.
drivers talent testing, mate. You need thousands, don't you? Thousands.
Yeah, exactly. I think a full client release, but in an unranked capacity, so
Okay.
something that doesn't affect safety or iRating, would be the way to go with this.
And if it goes
Because
pole-shaped, the public
Yeah.
will there'll be 1,000 videos on YouTube the next day going, iRacing has totally up the weather model, which would be horrible for
Yeah.
their marketing, of course. But then again, maybe they get it right. Who knows? People
Yeah, correct.
aren't thinking like, you know, developers and designers going, yeah, you know, we're releasing this. We want to make it better. We want you to try it. People immediately going to go off the bat and go, you guys have screwed it up. Like, it's horrible. But then again,
Well,
they
here's the
want,
thing you gotta think
well, how
about,
do you
Biggles.
manage that?
Biggles, here's the thing you gotta think about with that is they're not just it's not like Formula One esports or Formula One games where they're only worried about one tire compound, like Assetto Corsa Competizione, right? They have multiple tire compounds. You have Firestones, Michelins, you have the F1 tire compounds and the W13. You're also gonna have the tire compounds on the oval side of things for the wet weather racing for the NASCAR. So you have with the tire models that they have to create, it's not one tire model for every single car. It's multiple tire models for multiple different series that have to react differently to the rain into each individual series. And that's the big difficulty.
So
in
maybe
creating
they
the
could
rain model.
cap it, right, and say we're going to do rain for like maybe road races or something, or maybe certain categories at the start. And that's what I'm saying. Like, do they go balls deep and just go all out, or do they just limit it a little bit? They limit certain people that might, let's say, for example, iRacing says tomorrow we're going to do a beta release of our rating. Rain races. So sign up, be a part of it. It's not official. It's not going to be released yet, but you can all be a part of it. We'll get thousands of people, test it out, give us some feedback, see how it pans out, and then we'll work on those results, and then we'll try to, you know, tune it up, and then perhaps get it better for the official release. Or, once again, just release it totally out to the world, give everybody that feedback there, and then see whether or not they get 1 million people on social media hate them or like them on that. I don't know. You're right about that, like different things, but people don't think the same way you do, mate. Like, you know, it's good for one thing, it's bad for another.
Yeah, I feel like in the past, iRacing has never shied away from releasing stuff pretty early on, and then amending it through, you know, patches and, you know, and through working on it over time.
And I believe they don't couple that negative feedback so much on social media, because I look at social media, I don't really see anything like all this, like F1, other games, of course, other sims, get all the hate. Yeah, R-Factor and all that sort of jazz, get all the hate. iRacing doesn't get that hatred. Of course, every once in a while somebody's going to bitch and complain about it, but I think most people kind of accept the fact that it's a new release. Let's give them time to work it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, if they release it in a manner that's not going to affect people's iRating and safety rating while they're doing, you know, some data collection on it and ironing out any kinks that they involve, then that'd probably be the best eventuality, because it'll give everyone time to adjust to it as well before it becomes official. But it's definitely the next logical step for the sim. And, you know, personally, I can't wait to see weather from a setup perspective and from an engineering perspective. It's probably one of the most exciting dynamic things that can happen is to, you know, have to deal with the prospect of rain.
I think we're all looking forward to it. You hit the nail on the coffin on that one. We're all looking forward to it. And the more the discussion would be, and I agree with you, I would say just throw it out. Just release it. And then let the community over a few months, you know, channel it down to what they need to fix and address.
Yeah. And
fine tune it.
Yeah.
Rather than just, I'm more scared the fact that the more they wait, once again, the more the anticipation's building on this, because they've been saying it for years. Of course, everybody's wanting it for years. No, there's not a person on the planet that does not want wet weather in iRacing that I know. And,
no, correct, correct.
So if they get it out there, just get it out there. Take it on the chin. If it's a whole negative thing out there and people go, oh my God, they spent 3 years and it's a piece of shit, fine. But then get that feedback and fix it as quickly as possible. I don't think iRacing is that much of a brand that really cares too much about the social aspect of it as much as their brand, because they focus literally on the racing drive that day.
Yeah, they've always been good at that. They've always been good at making sure that, you know, the simulation and the experience is the top priority for everyone.
That's what I think as well too, because what I love about this as too, and you know, and trust me, I have disagreements because, you know, why am I spending $2,000 to buy every track and every car just to broadcast? Never done a lap around any of the, and never driven any of these cars, even around a track. But then I've invested that money into it. Now I could bitch and complain more than anybody else about that. However, I like the fact that they give us the tools to go full hard and, you know, make it look as pretty as possible and make it look great. And iRacing, yeah, you do that. You do that because what we're focusing on is making these cars as close to the real simulation as possible. And you know that for a fact, John. That's even the great thing about having you in here, because you work on real racing cars. You know exactly how they feel. You've driven them, you fixed them, and you admit that iRacing is doing a great job in simulating these things as best as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's some limitations in the engine sometimes. There's some cars that are much better than others when it comes to the, you know, the real world counterpart aspect of things. But yeah, for the most part, you know, there's at the end of the day, nobody's hopped into, you know, a car and gone, oh, this is horrendous, you know, no matter what. Or maybe there's been one or two instances.
I understand that too, mate. Because let's roll back to the old W12 situation, right? Mercedes releases that, you know, the Formula 1 car. Now, people go, why aren't there others? And you got to think about this for a fact. It's not iRacing. iRacing would be happy to have any other manufacturer, Ferrari and, you know, Red Bull and that sort of stuff, get in there. However, the companies themselves, the teams, are going to go, well, if we're going to actually allow iRacing, you know, give them access to all the cars and information stuff and put it on the track and have iRacing use it. If, say, for example, that Red Bull, say Red Bull put a car in, is nowhere near the performance of the Mercedes, then when people are watching all this esports and all this online iRacing and they're seeing Mercedes dominating a Red Bull, people go, well, Mercedes is better than Red Bull. Even though it's in a virtual world, that's what Red Bull are probably thinking about for their branding and their marketing going. So they might be very scared, same with Ferrari and stuff, as, you know, how well is iRacing going to get it balanced to a point where, are they going to be competitive cars? Because once again, you don't, you know, as a manufacturer, you don't want to, it's happened before with other manufacturers, of course, in the GT3s and stuff. Like, car manufacturer doesn't want their car to be a car that nobody wants to use because it's poor performing. Or perhaps people don't know how to tune it properly or whatever, but either way, it's not there. Even though that car in the real world could be dominating the GT3 championship, but yet in the virtual iRacing sim, it's a car nobody wants to use. So you got to think about it from their perspectives as car companies, like how are they represented on iRacing?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's one of those things nobody wants to look bad at the end of the day. And, you know, I remember, you know, there's a number of games over the years that haven't allowed, or certain manufacturers haven't allowed their cars to be in it because they don't want to see their cars being smashed against walls. You know, Ferrari being an infamous one that was a holdout for so many years in video games. Porsche.
Sorry, you be careful taking that GT3.
Very close.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You know, Porsche being another. You know, I think iRacing does a relatively good job of tweaking out performance, particularly GT3s. You know, the balance of power tweaks that they do before certain events help mitigate out, you know, particular advantages and things like that. But it does look like the way that they're going at the moment, they're going to be, you know, definitely making a big push with the FIA to get at least the feeder series in, because they're all one make. Ooh, bit on throttle and bam, into the wall. And being front engine, that's going to hurt.
Yeah. You're right. What do you think about that too, Will? Like what we're talking about, because I know we've had many conversations about this in the past there, Will. I know you spend ridiculous amount of hours in the iRacing sim.
In regards to what?
You won't even pay attention? It's fine. You're probably racing right now, Will, aren't you? I know you're streaming.
Nah,
What kind of burger are you making, Will?
Yeah.
Well, technically, according to you, Aussies and Zealanders down there, it's not technically a burger because
Oh, really?
it's not a burger bun. It's on toasted bread.
That's sandwich. That's sanger, mate.
Yeah, sanger.
Mhm.
I like how
But
you
it's-
use sanger. I actually use the word sanger ages. I like that. Yeah, now you're getting confused. Will saying a sanger.
But it's a burger. It is a cheeseburger.
What do you got on it? So, bit of toasts,
It's a
right?
beef burger.
What's in the middle of it?
A beef patty
And
and cheese and mayonnaise.
cheesy mayonnaise. Okay.
All right, so
You guys don't drown it with ketchup like you do with everything in the States?
I do not.
Okay. Just to let you know that one. Will. John. And by the way, I like tomato sauce way better than ketchup. It's with sugar. Anyway.
I'm a favourite of the, tomato relish. A good homemade tomato relish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, mate? Don't even talk to me about meat pies and sausage rolls. I've had a single one of them in about 8 years. It's driving me nuts. I actually wake up in a dream and I want to go to it. Oh, no, there's none here. Yeah. First thing I'm doing when I get to the airport in Australia, and when I probably fly into Sydney late this year, I'm going straight to wherever the hell I can find a damn sausage roll and a pie. I'm going to just scoff that down in a heartbeat.
There's a couple of good places in Sydney, but
At the airport,
You-
man.
you want
I
one
have
of
to fly out
those-
to Brisbane, but as soon as I get out, it's clear customs. You're going straight to wherever the hell
if you
I
go to
can buy it.
Brisbane, isn't there? What's the name of the
It's
place
Pie
in
Face,
Brisbane?
isn't it?
Yeah.
Was a brand. last
Oh
time I
no,
was
forget
there.
about that.
Huh?
Is it Yatla Pies? Yatala
Oh
Pies?
yeah, Yellow Pies. I know that one because I used to go up to Harvey Bay
Yep.
all the time. That's on the road. Yeah, that's famous.
Yep.
That's like
Yeah,
a,
if you're going
yeah.
to Brisbane, you should pop into there.
Yeah, I've been there many a times, my friend. I don't know if I have a reason to go back up to Harvey Bay because my parents moved back down to Brizzy, but Yatla, we stopped there every single time, mate. Every single, and believe it or not, here in Panama, they have a similar thing. It's called pastos, pastistos or something like that, and empanadas. That's it, empanadas. And basically on the road to go to the beach area where everybody goes on the weekend to a holiday, everybody stops at that place, and that's like the Yatla Pies of Panama. It makes me think of that when I see it because it has lines out front of people lining
I love
up.
that no matter where you go in the world, there's always the local spot.
Yep.
Right? There's
Yep.
always that place that you can go and get something that is hearty and filling and homely for everybody, and just, there's nobody unhappy with what they've got, right?
Do you have any of that, where you are, mate? Any of those like local hotspots that everybody likes? Oh, this food's delicious.
Not where I live currently, but in Grand Rapids, I like to definitely eat a lot of pita and char. Very delicious.
Oh, nice.
Mediterranean.
Try that.
Eater pockets.
Jules is doing
Grizzly
quite
Monk.
good in P6 at the moment. Now he's about 3 minutes and change. My apologies down the road. I keep forgetting we are in an endurance race. He's lapping 3:36 there. Now the Grizzly Motorsports team, Baroda, I believe they just took a pit stop. It's David
Yeah,
Baker.
they did.
Yep.
You are currently off strategy with them, but making up some good time. I don't know if they did a driver change or not, but they seem to be lapping pretty decent.
Yeah, we'll pull up the last lap time. Just let everybody know. Don't forget, everybody, if you are tuning here at the moment, I'm going to slam that link in there for you too, Zasquil, because you've been casting this for the whole 24 hours. You will be whole 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm afraid I
Sacrificing
must.
your PC. Go ahead. No.
I'm afraid I must jet for a little bit.
Oh, you're
but,
right, mate.
I will be back later on if you're going to be around for the
Yeah, I'm going the whole way, man.
closing
That's it.
stints.
We're going
Okay,
again.
fantastic.
John, I
I'll be
appreciate
back
your
on.
chats, mate. I love picking your brain, and GG's on your great driving point too.
Thank you. Thanks for having me as always.
So there you have it, Will. John's come in and picked your brain with motorsports. You didn't know that much about the motorsports that Mr. John was involved with in Australia?
No, you said that he's been doing some mechanical and some engineering stuff, which is
You race a lot, so, it's kind of a good idea to have somebody that, even in the virtual world, I think in the real world, in the virtual world, does actually pan out. There's a lot of drivers here at OCE actually like the... Oh, big accident in the background there. See who that was? That was Nick.
BMC Motorsports.
That's behind us, actually.
BMC
How's this
Motorsports,
panned
see what
out, mate?
happened there?
Yeah. Too deep into the
He
corner, I'd
just,
say.
Locked up the rears there coming
Yep.
in.
Oh, no, the car. Yeah, you're right. Oof. Like it got the right. Look at that marbles, too.
Nothing too crazy, just a little lockup of the rears. Very common with that car. So right now, what we're looking at is so right now for the state of the race, we have not lost out of this race a single LMP2 car. We have lost 7 LMDH and 1 GT3.
Yeah, I saw that at the start because I remember coming back from my little snooze and I kept the broadcast up. And I was like, there's 3 hypercars. And 3. And I'm like, what? Is 3 left? There weren't. They were just essentially like, way down field. Now there's essentially 5. They managed to catch back up. But yeah, I mean...
Oh no, there's 11 still on track. There's still 11 racing.
But considering how spread out there are, the LMP2s are now laps ahead of most of them.
How many we got in there? Actually, let's see. Mind Trick.
Are you going to the end too, Will? You gonna be up to 7, 8 in the
I'm
morning?
not gonna be awake, but...
Oh, come on, mate.
Let's see, looks
I
like we
woke
had
up and you were
LM
asleep.
Wait, whoa, looks like we had an LMP2 crash a little bit ago. Oh, is that LMP2? LMDH coming in for a pit stop also.
Yeah, that's Nicholas. There's no damage on that car. It's just a schedule. They're in P7 in our class, so not a problem right now for Jules. Jules is matching the pace up the road there from the Grizzlies Motorsport team.
Yeah, pace is pretty similar. They're off strategy right now, so see how that works out. Still 6 hours remaining. It's a bit more treacherous in the night during the daytime. There's not nearly as much necessarily to worry about as far as just being able to see.
Track temperatures increase about 19 degrees Celsius, mate. I had to convert that way to Fahrenheit, but
yeah,
it's slowly increasing.
Yeah, the track temp's 19°C right now, which isn't hateful. It was pretty warm at the start of the race. I think track temperature was like 37°C at the start of the race or something. It was very warm, very hot. So.
Did you manage to catch Farnsey, of course, from the United States of America, in a part of the OCE-RL team at the moment? He did a good job. I had a little bit of yarn to him before.
Yeah, seemed to have a good drive. It wasn't terrible. So now we're just looking at, honestly, just bringing it home, keeping the car safe. I think that's what.
And because I was talking to Jules before there, saying, Jules, are you looking for more drivers, stuff like that? He's like, yeah, more cars, more endurance races. I think, Will, you might be a good addition to the OCE-RL team in the future if you would like to be a part of it. Because you know how much rehearsal and practice these guys have been doing over the last couple of weeks. Like, in this Discord, mate, every day almost, they've been putting hours and hours and hours of laps in.
Looks like Jules is coming through the Porsche curves right now. Should be coming up to the Ford chicanes.
It's right on board.
Any moment now.
Right on board. Give us a little bit of a hunt lap from yourself there, Will, from Jules' perspective.
Oh, my. Everyone's sleeping. I gotta be quiet.
That's right. Just whisper it. It's all right. He's gonna. Oh, he's got to back off big time here.
Jeez,
doesn't want to risk
be
it.
Very good. This is where they've made a couple of mistakes. I know that getting out of that first curb and the first left-hander were very treacherous.
Stop yawning. Make me yawn.
Oh, he's gonna try and snake around that GT3 on the inside there. A bit risky, because if that GT3 does not brake enough, it could be very detrimental to the car there. But they get through just fine.
Now, who's following at the moment? That's Doden.
That's Michael Doden of the 44.
P50
is P9.
P9, yeah. So he'd be a lap car, but then again, he's putting up a bit of a fight, so Jules is well aware of that.
Well, he's just hanging out behind him right now.
He ain't gonna let him through. No.
Right now, there's, we'll see if he catches a slipstream. should let him pass, but
Sure, if
See
it
what
were, you don't
happens.
have to. Same class. In fact, if I was anything, Michael
Eagles.
Dowden, I would be like trying to hold up that driver as much as I could.
yes.
JS is back.
Hello.
Hello, JS.
So I'll come say hi again quickly.
Any updates currently at the moment for the
Um,
OCE-RL Black Team?
We are in P4,
Mm.
which is good. So we had one of the P4, when we were at P5, P4 had quite a bad collision, if you've seen in the chat. So that was good for us.
Yeah, it is.
He collided with one of the back markers and hit the wall. Nothing major damage, no major damage, but had to pit. Probably would have been a meatball. But no, we're looking good. So P2, basically, first, second, and third are 3 laps ahead. So we're just kind of hoping that they'll be fighting shortly, and we might be able to pick up the pieces from that.
Well, you did pick up the pieces from the P4, so that's good. I think you're on for a podium at the moment, mate. And Jules is struggling to get past this car at the moment because this car is essentially running a lap down. And he has to time his way perfectly. If you can see my pictures. No, he's not going to let him through. This is going to be very difficult. Jules has to be very careful. They're getting a braking point right now. Hopefully this guy doesn't do anything crazy. Jules, you're on the outside. Oof. Good luck, thankfully, on that one. But yeah, so you guys are good and do that. Up into P4 is great.
We're just hoping for that podium, but you know, we can only, you know, take advantage of the luck that's thrown at us. So really, it's just keeping out the wall and hoping, I guess. For the
Yeah, you
last
guys
7
haven't been
hours,
making any crazy mistakes, right? Nobody's spun or anything
Not
at the
really.
time we chatted last?
Oh no, nothing since then really. Chris has been going really good in the car, so is Jacob, and now Adam's in the car, Peanuts, and he's going real good. We're just trying to get that optional down, which most of the drag I was telling you about last time is basically gone. There's 2 minutes left in the optionals, but that should be gone pretty much soon. And yeah, we just got to just keep it in the lines and stick out the walls.
So that
yeah.
coffee's paid off. I like it.
The coffee. I haven't even driven yet, to be honest.
Yeah,
I've got
when
about
are
hour
you
and a
driving,
half.
mate? You are driving soon, right? Like you said. Like
Yeah, hour and a half for about
Okay.
2 hours. So yeah, but no,
You reckon you're going to get that car if it's around a P4, maybe even a P3?
I hope so. I don't know if I'll be the one to do it, but you know, I'll just help the team as much as we can and keep going. But no, I'm really quite impressed at how we're going. I think it definitely will be, I think, the best result we've had as a team for everyone. So let's just hope you guys, well, the Team Purple, can get up to potentially top 5.
Oh, we hope as well. And this could be the first OCE victory if you guys get on the podium, because OCE victories in the endurance races hasn't happened yet. But hey, maybe this could be the first of many.
Yeah, it could. Hopefully we can get the win, but I don't
And remember,
think so.
mate,
but yeah.
you will get a little bit of an internal battle for the OCE victory, because if you guys do manage to finish on a podium or even better, like a P2, P1, then you have bragging rights. Even though you're in a different class, you can still have bragging rights to go, OCE Team Black is better than OCE Team Purple. That's what I'd be shouting at anyway.
Nah, I don't want to set that up.
Yeah,
no,
you can.
It's all equal. Nah, it's all good. I think to be honest, from what I've seen, I haven't really been following Purple too much, but been on and off.
You don't need
But
to.
from what I've seen is we've just had the luck at the moment.
But you got to be in the win, mate. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you also had some little scary moments, remember, before, where you had to avoid cars that could have turned you into a 15-minute repair job. So.
And we wouldn't be looking at podium then.
There you
yeah,
go.
so.
Just do the right thing. Stick with it and keep supporting your boys, mate. JS. I'll probably let you back down there and keep the motivation going. You're all pumped up.
Good.
You got your coffee, mate. You're going to be ready to drive soon. I'm hoping you're going to be able to gain some more positions.
Just keep it in the lines and see how we go. But you guys are going good.
Yeah. Appreciate
all
the feedback there, JS. Thank you very much for that one.
All right, speak later.
JS giving us feedback there from the OCE Team Black that is currently in the Tier 7 and making their way up to P4 at the moment, which is absolutely fantastic. The last time we chatted to JS, it was in P5. So he just mentioned a little bit of a moment from the cars up the road. and allowed them to get the overtake done. That's all it is in an endurance race, of course, so getting in the right place at the right time. Squill, stop yawning. Will? Please, Squill. Will. You still broadcasting this on your Twitch channel? You have been. 24 hours, mate. Hang on. 4 hours yet. Will? 17 hours and 23 minutes you've been broadcasting for. I think you might. You haven't passed out yet, have you, Will? He's going to leave me alone. Currently, at the moment, P3 is a boxing from the LMP2 class. Check out Taco Man's doing. He's Taco Man's probably having a nap right now. But his team is currently P2 in the hypercar. Oh, Taco Man's here. I can't really turn up Taco Man's stream. It's like, otherwise it will appear over this. Yes. Actually, I may just... No, I don't want to mute the game audio. Oh, we're in the box. Jules is in the pit lane. Tires and fuel. Should be a scheduled stop in and out. Jules has a couple more stints to do. And Takara about 13 minutes ago. I might take a little bit of a breather straight on the power. You can see the smoking up the rear tires, get some temperature into them, and Nigs in the pit road. Still remain in P6. No. Oh, that's just a hypercar. Good. I'll be back in a little bit as we take a little bit of a pause. The cameras will still be focused, obviously, on the OCE-RL Team Purple. Jill's in control of this machine. Back in a minute.
Hello, Biggles.
Hey Taco, how you doing at the moment, mate? It's glad to see you in the split. Of course, I'm broadcasting currently at the moment for another racing team and another racing network, but you guys in the hypercar doing a fantastic job. Who's piloting your machine at the moment?
Right now his name is Matt.
There it is,
Yeah.
Matty.
Good old Matthew.
Canadian too, mate. Doing pretty good. Now, just to give us a little bit of a recap, mate. How have you panned out there for the 17 hours so far?
The race has been good. I think the most damage we've had to repair is, I believe, is 39 seconds. So we've had a couple of scrapes, couple of little bruises, you know, but nothing crazy. We've had a couple of close calls, avoiding other people's, I guess you could say, mistakes. But overall, it's been going really well. Very consistent, very clean. So it's going good.
Sounds like your voice is about to be cracked or broken. You've been casting for some time, haven't you now, mate? What, 15 hours on your stream?
17. There was a small hiccup on Twitch's side. But on my OBS timer, I've been live for 17 hours and 40 minutes.
I'm going to share your Twitch link as well, too, for
you're welcome
our
to,
boys,
yeah.
of course, a little bit further down in a different class. And you know Vanzi, we were talking about Vanzi before. I think he did a pretty good stink.
He ran one stint and then got done, yeah.
You guys are about lap down currently at the moment from the leaders. Do you think you can bring it at the moment to the Simpact racing team?
I don't think so. They're pretty OP. Our only chance to getting P1 is for them to bottle it or get bottled into. But they've been showing a lot of consistency, and at this point they're just kind of cruising and staying out of trouble. So anything that's risky, we've noticed that they just kind of back out.
You guys just shaved. Your last lap was a 3:26. They did a 3:34. He shaved like 14 seconds on that lap.
Well,
mate.
No. He's on his out lap. So P1's on their out lap right now.
Okay. I'm looking at your beautiful car at the moment, mate. Are you pretty proud of the gladiators that are racing with you around here in the north?
Yeah, the name of the team's called Echelon Simsport, and they were kind enough to bring me onto the team and drive the LMDH with them.
You did a good job,
they've been a
too.
great group. They've been a great group of guys. No, technically they're not Taco Shop.
But you did a good taco shop for the team.
Huh?
You drove well, mate. I saw your little stint before.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it was pretty clean. On my first fuel stint, I made a couple of hiccups trying to get comfortable, and then once I kind of zoned in, I was good to go for a while.
I'm so glad. What is on the back of that car written there? The Debo? I can touch my seeing the fin there. Matthew's piloting that machine. Just trying to see what it is.
Dr. Dabber? Is that what you're
Is that
talking
it? Is that it?
about? Dr. Dabber? Yeah, that's what's on the side of the car.
And what is that? What is that?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
This is their car. I don't know.
It's your car too. You'd been driving
Well,
it.
I'm driving in it, but it ain't my car, you know.
It's it needs a little taco shop. You got taco shop love for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But they brought me in a little too late for them to care about my opinion as to what should go on the car.
I'm seeing it in your stream right now at the moment. You definitely have the right pictures. I really appreciate you having a little beyond to me, mate, because I was a little bit alone in the casting box. Of course, as you got almost lap 300, my friend, with 6.5 hours to go, 17 hours. How many stints have you done, and are you doing any more stints later on?
I've done 5 fuel stints, and every stint's about somewhere between 35 to 40-ish minutes.
Nice.
And I've done 5 of them.
No mistakes, no moments?
No, well, I scraped the wall twice, which is what added to one of the skirted, like the little bit of damage.
Yep. How much did that cost you in the stock repairs?
35 seconds, something like that.
Mate,
yeah, that's nothing for a race of this magnitude. So that's the worst thing I've done. And if you're looking at our car, he's about to enter the Porsche curves.
I am, absolutely.
And on the double left-hander is when I was really aggressive. So he's going through the right-hander now.
Yeah.
And on the first left, on that exit, I was too aggressive on my angles. And that's where I would just kiss the wall a little bit.
Ooh, that's unusual. I've seen a lot of people do that. Now, the final corner's been catching some people off. I've seen that before.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
It hasn't caught you off by the time. It's like...
No. once I dialed back my aggressiveness through those curves I pointed out to you, I've been clean. My car's been clean. I've just kept it out of trouble.
Do you think that's a 5-lap open lobbies you do all the time in Formula 1 helps you out with dealing with people?
Oh yeah, experience on track and dealing with the unexpected all the time definitely goes into account.
I think that actually makes a big difference, mate, and very entertaining. I can't go a day without watching your stream at the moment too. I heard about Bullet before too. As well, you mentioned it as well too. You're a lovely boy.
Yeah, my boy's always involved.
Yeah, Taco, I'll probably let you go, mate, because I know you got a lot up, and I do appreciate you having a bit of a yarn to me, mate. What are your predictions? Are you guys going to take P1? You have to take P1, Taco.
We're trying. That is the goal. All we can really hope for is they fall asleep, they bottle it, they something. But that's all we can really hope for. Their pace is pretty similar to ours, so we need something to happen to them in order for us to catch up.
There's a KFC driveway down the main straightaway, mate, so maybe get them to pop in there and grab some tacos there and throw them off.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Mate, I appreciate it. I'll be continuing to watch you guys, and hopefully you guys get that P1 there, so you got some bragging rights over Vanzi.
Definitely. I'm never going to let them forget it, too, so.
I love you, mate. Everybody give some taco love out there. Thank you very much for a yarn, mate. Good luck in the rest of your race.
Thank you. Try not to get too bored now. You know,
I got 6 hours of casting to go, mate. So I appreciate you yarning with me for a little bit. So keep up the good work.
We'll see if we can.
Are you going the whole way now?
After my driving stance.
Are you going the whole way? Or are you gonna have a little bit of a lay down?
No. Well, here in about 5 hours, I would have been up for 24 hours, and I'm expected to drive in about an hour and some change.
Oh man!
So like it's gonna be a long day. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stay awake for the Spanish Grand Prix, but we're gonna try.
I don't know if it's gonna happen.
We're gonna try, damn it.
Maybe we can watch a replay it later together if we're all too busy of this on your channel. That'd be fantastic. Maybe. I know, who knows, mate. And then again, you have to stay away from social media because you're gonna spoil the surprises, aren't they, mate?
Yeah, well, with how deeply involved I am in F1, it's kind of hard to not find out what happens.
I know, man. Everybody's gonna message you like, Taco, look what happened. Like Taco's like, I wanted to watch it later. I love you, Taco. Probably. You're an awesome bloke, and keep up the great streaming. I'll be watching. Thank you.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you, bro. So we'll see you around.
Well, back I had a little bit of a charm with the Taco Man himself, and that is the Echelon Simsport team there in the black. And Taco's a fantastic streamer. Formula 1, I love Formula 1, and he's one of those Formula 1 streamers who competes actually in the Creators Formula 1 series up against some of the best drivers in the world, not Yano and stuff like that, but the most popular streamers in the world. And he's actually streaming at the moment. I will try to throw that into the chat there to give a little bit of Taco love here from the OCE-RL team. There it is. If you want to support Taco Man, please do. He loves his iRacing. He loves his ACC. He loves anything that has wheels on it. So, and he's a great bloke. And to give you a representation how great he is, he had a quick yarn with me. He said, Biggles, yeah, I'll come in. Had a chat. Explained what's happening with his racing team at the moment that are going into the pit road as Matthew is polling that machine. That's to go to show you how popular a popular Twitch streamer will take his time out to have a bit of a yarn to just regular people like me is a sign of a really good bloke. So please support the Taco Love on his channel, and he's currently running at the moment there for the hypercars in P2, and I hope that they definitely get a P1, as he just mentioned before, that you heard. He's doing their absolute best there. It's a little bit of a miracle. Only a lap or so down, and they have 6.5 hours to go. So that should be good for him. And he's raced with the likes of Vanzi, that's racing here in the OCE Racing League. So good on him. So check that channel out if you want to look at multiple streams, of course, of what's going on. But further back, what we need to be focusing on right now, of course, is our OCE Racing team. And Jules is still doing a fantastic job. Constant, consistent racing there from the Jules stuff. That's had a yarn to us before. One of the administrators of this fantastic racing league, himself and Chris. And I had a big shout out there to Chris that was letting me know earlier. I said, Chris, I can get back in there, hit the broadcast button there, and hope broadcast this again on the OCE Racing League. Chris sorted it all out. No problems. Got it done. Whilst he's busy, of course, with the team, trying to put the best effort they can in, and their effort's been fantastic. 6th position currently at the moment, from plump last in their division. Both those teams at the moment, and both the teams I'm mentioning at the moment, is the OCE Purple team and the OCE Black team in the Tier 7 split, or in the Tier 5. And they both started last in their classes, and they're currently at the moment, I believe, last that I heard, is P4 that JS just mentioned earlier, which is fantastic for that Tier Split 7. Currently at the moment in the Tier 5 split, you have Jill's piloting this machine in P6. About a lap and change down the road, but that's really nothing when you have 6 hours, just over 6 hours remaining in this race. So there you have it. There is your little bit of a recap currently at the moment for the OCE Racing team. In Le Mans, 24 hours, 17 hours and 40 minutes down. Oh, be careful. Oh, he's getting very cautious. He's going to come out of this corner here. Jillsy knows it. Be very, very patient. We're right on board right now with Jillsy and see how it pans out to look at the OCE front hood there from not really Jillsy's eye perspective, but either way. He is battling with a car, and that car at the moment he's battling, if you can see in the relative times to the right-hand side, that's P13. So that driver is not anywhere near where he needs to be progressing. However, that driver, of course, Davies, can be a pain in the for Jillsy. So he's very well aware of it, and he is aware at the moment that he's going to be approaching a slow GTR car. Now, we know that the car up the road does not have to let him through, okay? And it looks like he's not. He's going to make Jillsy make his way around the difficult way. Because, of course, if Jillsy makes a mistake, it's contact as well. There's a little bit of aggression and keep creeping in here right now. Now, I understand Jillsy is a little bit quicker, but then again, he doesn't need to be in a fight with this car driver. He just passed there is Davies. He's down the road. He's 5 laps down currently at the moment from Jills. But that's not a tangle you want to fight at the moment, because that car could take you out, Jillsy, and all of a sudden you guys could be in for a pit stop for 30 minutes or something like that. So at that point, that's probably, I'd have to say, one of the most difficult cars to ever overtake on a track is the cars that you are lapping that are a few positions behind you. Because they're the ones that don't want to give the position up. Now, GT3 cars, of course, they're going to be lapped. Now, LMP hypercar cars, of course, you're going to let them through. But these other cars are battling, and they don't want to allow you through because they realize every time they allow you through, there's another lap that you've got on them. And they're still battling you. They still realize there's 6 hours, in this race left. And they know if you bin it and you make a mistake, they possibly can get those positions back up. So that is the situation currently right now. See if I can get somebody else to come chat to me, because I'm sick of talking to myself. Let's just go on board for a minute and just listen to in the cockpit view of Jules handling this car perfectly. All right. sounds like we've just pulled the Chris into the mix.
Oh, mate. What's happening?
Sorry, mate, I had a sneeze. I had a sneeze again.
Sorry, say again?
I had sneezed twice. Yeah. Bloody dingoes. Mate, well, you must be pretty proud at the moment for the OCE-RL team. I apologise. I was chatting to Al Taco, man. He's a popular Twitch streamer, and he's racing currently in the moment. Hypercar P2.
Oh, fuck yeah. In what split? In
the same split you guys are in. Yeah. And I was watching.
You give me an update on Purple's race. I haven't heard much from them lately. We've been a bit busy.
What? You don't know what's going on in your own team?
Nope. Wait, we got our hands full down in Team 2. I've been driving the car for 2 hours.
Oh, you mean team? Yeah, not Team 2, mate. Just the better team, because you guys are in P4, aren't you?
Team consistency. That's what we are. We were. So we had. I'll give you our race update. We had a little bit of a slip up at Indy. We've gone straight on, and we've received our first meatball of the race.
Oh, when?
It just happened.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah. So 15 minutes in the pits. I think we might be down in P8 now.
Oh, you guys are P4.
So I mean, all things considered, not the end of the world. It wasn't too bad. If we had to have a meatball, that's
Don't
fine.
have one at all. We vegan.
Yeah,
isn't OCE vegan? I heard this the whole time that I've been casting. Like, it was like, no, we're vegan, Biggles. We're vegan. We're not taking any meat. No meat allowed.
Most days, but today is a cheat day, I guess.
So, where do you guys going to pan out after those?
So there's still plenty of race to go. Still 6 hours in it. I think it sounds like we came out P8.
Okay.
And another car on our lap, so we'll probably make a shot for them, and then who knows what will happen down the front.
Chris, man,
There's still
I was
pretty
talking
tight
this up,
competition
right?
in the
guys,
LMPs.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I know you guys are a different tier, right? You're tier 7. The boys in the purple are tier 5. But then again, you're still racing the class according to the pace that you have. You had an opportunity to rub it in to the team purple and go, hey guys, when did you finish again? Where? Well, we're like, you're potentially first, and like, guys, like P5 at the moment. All right, okay, it's say you first, you have to beat your teammates, right?
Of course.
And essentially they are your teammates, and so if you can rub the injury into insult to them and say, well, we beat you. But at the moment, you haven't, so you got to take those repairs. But then, as you just said, I like the positive attitude you're talking about, Chris. You still have 6 hours to go.
There's a lot of race. 6 hours is still more than your normal enduro.
Yeah, and actually, believe it or not, mate, I've done a few of these with you guys before in other leagues. This is when mistakes are more made as the fatigue really kicks in. People go fatigue, people go sleep.
As we've discovered.
Yeah, people go sleeping for, they sleep, but they don't sleep for 8 hours. They sleep for 1 or 2. They wake up half drowsy and not enough sleep to get inside the car, and then mistakes are made.
Definitely. Yeah, that's the time we're going to start to see those. I think the guys ahead of us are going to realize they've got a good opportunity here, and they're going to push, hopefully, beyond what they're capable of. That's what we're looking out for. Yeah,
you got to keep that positive attitude. For sure, because there's nothing you can do about it. So elaborate real quick again. What happened on that incident? Was it your fault, or
no? So I think Peanuts had just gotten into the car, and we gave him dirty tires. We're double stinting at the moment because the track's still kind of cool. And yeah, just first lap out, dirty tires. It's a difficult situation to be in, as you would know.
I've seen.
Yeah, just driven, just outbroken himself down at Indy and gone straight on into that little barrier. And, it was a pretty gentle crash, but these cars are really, really fragile.
They are. But you elected to choose the LMP2, so, you got to deal with the damage that you have. Hypercars as well. Any particular reason why you guys never chose the hypercars?
I think we just got more time in the seat with this car. Okay. Everyone owns it now because this is the second year doing a Le Mans, and everyone's pretty comfortable with it, so we have a good baseline. John's pretty familiar with it, so he's been able to pump out a setup which has been really solid. The car feels great, even in spite of we had a bit of damage from contact earlier on, and the car's a bit draggy, but like it feels excellent. It really is good.
I was having a good yarn to John, actually, after his great racing stint that he did. Jules is in piloting that machine at the moment. And John gave me a lot of that. He's like, he was like, yeah, this car's good. He's like, okay, Jules, you got to probably adjust the tire pressure a little bit. You know, John, he knows every little detail of a car.
Sure does.
And everybody's very impressed, including Barnes I was speaking to. Of course, you guys have allowed a yank into the team, which is fun. And yeah, even Barnes is pretty impressed. And Barnes, he knows his setups too. So yeah, you got to give it to John, delivering the right machine for both teams too.
Absolutely. Yep. And yeah, no, our split's been a bit hotter than theirs, so we've struggled a bit more with grip. But even in the hot conditions, I think we're 10 degrees up on them on average.
Yeah, you are. I was talking to JS before, and he was telling me the temperature, and I pulled it up. What is your temperature at the moment? Ours is 21. Ours is in what I'm streaming.
We're going back up now. It's 26 now.
Wow. Yeah, you guys are definitely a lot hotter. Same time, just different situation, right?
We've got 6:06 on the clock right now.
Yep, it's exactly the same. We both started. Well, it's actually 9. Hang on, I thought it was the same time that you guys are starting.
Oh yeah, no, local time is 9. 6,
oh yeah,
6
local
to
time.
go.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Thank you. I was going to say, I thought it was the same. All right.
Yeah, but that's us.
In the chat, Gaming Flowers asking, people got crash? Where's Ekka's stink? He's asking for Ekka's again. He asked that before, mate.
Where is he? He's down there in the other chat. Do you want me to go get him?
Yeah, bring him up, because obviously the chat's wanting to know what Ekka's is happening. Ekka's, not Ekka, the Brisbane Expedition.
Get it right.
Yeah, that's a little later in the year.
Good chat, man. Take it easy.
Go grab him, bring him up. All right, mate. There you go, mate. We'll get it sorted. Jamie, don't you worry about that. The crew are here. Have a look at a little bit of moments that have happened. Some crashes recently. This is the LM2 car. This is actually a little bit further down the road from us, thankfully. And that's just a little bit of a spinner route. Problemo, get back on track. Further back, another incident that have occurred here. Also, P15 in our class, and I have to say this has got to be the exit here. Bang. That's caught a few people off, and luckily no collision. Gets on the gas pedal, should do it. A 360, kept around that. Bingo. That's the situation. To recap, OCE Racing Team is currently P6. About 3 minutes and change down the road there from the Grizzly Motorsport Team, which has been basically the arch rivals currently at the moment from our team. Been following them, matching their pace, getting a little quicker per lap, and so forth. That's the blue machine. You can see on the pictures. That's the target that we want to take. 48 machine.
Bad news, Biggles.
Oh, what happened, Chris?
He's getting in the car. He's not going to be able to come chat.
Oh, come on. He can drive and chat. I understand.
You might have to pinch Jules once he's out. Get the update from them.
Yeah, poor Jules has been chatting to me half the time.
Well, he loves talking to you.
I know he does.
Oh, he loves talking as well.
Yeah. And by the way, thank you very much to this. You gotta remember, Chris, you're a massive part of the administration of this one. And I said, mate, I'm ready to stream again. He immediately got that all hooked up. Goes to show you the dedication you do.
It's just because you're a bloody champion. Your streams are always classic.
Stop sucking up to me, buddy. We're Australians, mate. We have to stick together, all right? We're a lonely island. We're convicts, all right? The British, the Americans. Yeah. No, it's a great league, and Chris, you got a little bit of a rap, of course, for your league at the moment. People will be watching this back later, of course, like many years to come, because it's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said before, you're looking always for new drivers, right, to be a part of the OCE Racing.
Yeah,
and
of course.
You basically guys do now endurance races or iRacing events and stuff.
Yeah. We started in F1, but now we've gone real heavy into iRacing. The competition is just so engaging in iRacing, right? It's so much fun.
Well, not to mention, you guys are watching the results right now, but you forget about the weeks and weeks and weeks that you guys have been putting into this. I noticed, up late and I look at it going, oh, the OCE boys are practicing again for this upcoming event.
Yep. Week on week, everyone's jumping in, everyone's doing their part, putting in pre-quali and practicing and setups, feedback for John. It's really good. It's good to see the team get together.
It pays off too, isn't it? Because it's probably your best result currently in the moment, and touch wood.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain. We've done pretty well, both teams.
And
The
interesting that
consistency,
both
like,
you guys
year
are
on year, the
elected to start
consistency is just-
plump last in your class.
Yeah, we had a bit of a shitty quali on our session,
Or both.
which is unlucky. But did they have a shit quali as
Yeah,
well?
they started plump last as well, mate.
Did they really? I didn't know
Yes.
it.
Yep. They started plump last in the
Fair enough.
LMP2 class, and so did you.
Hang on. Last to first challenge, both slits.
And the first challenge might be a little risking it for the biscuit, but I'm hoping for a podium. Really, from the blokes. Otherwise, we're going to be hanging out Bunnings, getting a snag later on,
I would
talking about
love
what
if
happened.
one of us got podium. As far as I'm aware, everyone who finishes podium in every split gets a little medal.
Really? All
I think
right.
there's like a prize that gets shipped out.
Nice.
God, I would lose my mind if we got sent one of those. You can't believe how happy I'd be.
Well, you'd be happy you put on a fantastic league, my friend. You got a very, very good racing community here, of course, like Sir John that set the car up in.
Very proud.
I picked his brain to pieces. The man can actually pick a car to pieces and tell you every time, every little tiny
guy.
bit of a car. He'll go, yeah, your
Is that
spark
why-
plug's not sparking enough, mate. You know, sharpen it up a little bit. Yeah, you can see your rear axle
Is
needs
that
a
where you
little
got
bit of
the
adjusting.
the radiator fluid advice from before?
Yeah, I've had so much advice from John, mate. I told him if I still had my GTR 32 Skyline in Australia, when I blew both my turbos, I'd send it straight to John to get it fixed, but I don't have that car anymore. But he would be the man I'd give it to.
Absolutely. I
Good.
trust him with my Kia Rio.
I
alright.
trust him with my Bentley. I got parking. No, I'm kidding.
And the Lambo around the back as well.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of Lambo, man. I don't know. If I had a sports car, maybe an Aston Martin, probably. Because I like the
Not
green.
good for the outback roads, you know.
I got green eyes. I like green. I'm in the middle of the jungle. It's got to be an Aston Martin.
Yeah, that grade is very nice. British racing.
Yep. What about? Oh yeah, here we go. This is a question for you, mate. Well, I'll give you two actually.
For the price of one.
Yeah, two questions because I just thought of the second one. Maroons or blues? That's the
I
first
don't know,
one.
it depends.
First one, you can think
I
of
think
that one.
I really like the blue livery on the LMP2.
No.
but-
The state of origin.
Oh,
Yeah, you gotta choose one
Sports?
team.
sports?
Yeah, and then well,
Never heard of it.
you're in esports. Second, damn, I'm gonna forget my second question right now. God.
Oh,
damn
come on.
I
believe in you.
Yeah, Holden or Ford?
I was always a Holden boy.
The great Australian rivalry.
I was a Holden boy back
You're
in
a
the
Holden
day.
boy? Okay. Either way. I mean, I went out and bought a Nissan, so this isn't a Rory. Holden. My buddies.
Could probably enter that this year.
What? Sorry.
Could probably enter that in the V8s this year.
The what? In the V8s?
Your Nissan.
What happened? My Nissan in the V8s?
You're gonna go enter it.
Well, they used to be back there. They banned them. They came back. They banned them. Blah blah blah. And my parents were driving a Volvo before I crashed my parents' Volvo around
Oh no.
the backyard. We had 1 acre, and I was like,
How'd you
my
manage
parents
that?
are away. Let me get hold of this Volvo. Try to do laps around the backyard, hit a tree. Oopsie.
Oh, no.
And Volvos are not a great car you want to hit a tree with, mate, because they crumble big time. That's why the safety
think-
works.
I don't think you really want to hit a tree in any car. That's just my opinion, though.
It is a little tap, but you know what I mean? When you're 13, 14 or whatever, like that's my parents are like, that money we had saved up for you, it's gone. All right.
Oh no.
Yeah, I got it. I copped an earful, but then again, I was a little shithead, so I can't blame.
Yeah, it sounds
for
like
that.
it.
Yeah. I made it up to him later on, sorry. But yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, so yeah, and they had Volvos in that, and Hey, what do you think about the V8 supercar? This, I mean, talk to John. He'll patch him up. But
Yeah, I haven't been following it very closely, but like, I think this year we went down and watched it. Winton is such a fun track.
where are you in
It's-
Australia, mate? Are you down Victoria or something?
We're down in Melbourne,
Yeah,
outside
Vicky,
Melbourne,
Vicky area.
so not too far away from.
You didn't go to the Aussie GP?
Oh yeah, I did. I bet we did.
You did this year?
Me and Jules,
Alright.
some others from the server we met up with.
I hope you got the general mission, right?
Nah, we get stand tickets these days.
Where are you going to sit in the stand? Well, tell me what grandstand.
Up inside of turn 1.
Oh, come on, mate. That's a boredom
I'll tell you
fest.
what. For those restarts at the Grand Prix, that was prime seat.
Actually, that would have been in the restarts. I've been there about 3 times in the past, and I've actually first 2 years I did the general. So my brother and I, my older brother, we stayed next to over expensive hotels near the track, but
Yeah.
and then we walked around it, and we were like, okay, this would be a great place to sit and watch it. I can't remember what turn it was at the point. I think it was one of those. I can't remember, but it was good. Fold up chair, blah blah blah. I forgot to first thing, massive mistake that I did was not buy earmuffs or ear plugs. And this is
When was
about
this?
the V10 year as well.
Okay,
too.
yeah, that's
So
fair enough.
my
I was going to
ears
say, if
were,
it was
like,
in the last few years.
burning. I was like, I'm an idiot. But yeah, and then of course, I got them the next day or whatever, and then blah blah. It was great because I've walked the whole track 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, no, same. Back in
Yeah,
the... So,
and you can in the grandstand as
few
well, too.
years
You can
ago-
walk all the way around the whole track. Did you walk
Few
the little
years
bridge
ago-
across the lake as well, in the middle?
Yeah.
You know that little floaty bridge?
Yeah, the little pontoon bridge that crosses the
you
lake.
jump up and down on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a serious bridge. You can like drive cars over that.
Really? Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they'll do it.
Yeah.
Obviously not when it's open. No, yeah. Back in the day, me and Jules would do GA. I think we did it a couple of years, and then we're like, let's try out stands around like turn 3,
Yeah.
4, and then we've been trying out a few different stands. We move
I'll tell
around,
you what,
know.
mate. Yeah, I mean, you talk about that because my last year I did it with my brother. It's I was like, screw it, let's go. I was earning good money at that time as well too, so I'm like, you know what, 4K for a paddock pass, done. So
Oh, nice.
8K for my brother and I, bang, same
Yep.
hotel and all that jazz. I'll tell you what, I tell people often when I'm always casting, the great thing about Albert Park is when we did have that paddock pass, I was essentially in a hospitality that was above the Ferrari garage, okay? And it's literally just 1 floor above the Ferrari garage. So you can pop out on the little balcony and look straight down, and it looks like you're looking at the start of Drive to Survive when the cars pick up there. That's exactly it. I actually got footage of that too. And
that's amazing.
what's even amazing is that when I walked down the hallway, I ran into
Yeah.
many drivers. Because
Get any photos?
they-
Any meet and greets?
I'm not one of those people that just want to stop and take photos. I'm not. I wasn't at the time. I ran into Fernando Alonso. I ran into, I can't remember even how many drivers I ran into. And I'm never a person that go, yeah, you stop and take a selfie and all that sort of jazz. And I was never like that. But they were there. And I was telling people, the beauty of Albert Park is the fact that there is no motorhomes like they have in Europe, right? And if you've been to Albert Park, right, and you've had grandstands, there is no all these big like hospitality areas. The hospitality area is literally above the garages. That's where they are.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So the drivers are constantly going up the hospitality area and back down. It's also where there's a little ramp to actually see where the podium celebrations are as well too. I was actually right next to the podium
'cause it's, like,
celebration, looking at
between-
them, shaking the champagne. I was behind them. But that's
Yeah, nice.
And that's a great thing about Albert Park. I was telling like people, like, you don't get that in many other tracks around the world because of that sheer circumstance of where it is. In the United States, it doesn't happen because they try to cover off all the influx of people. Like in Miami, it's a Hard Rock Stadium. They put them all in the Hard Rock Stadium, right? But you're not allowed in the Hard Rock Stadium
No.
because of that fact that they don't want general people in there. But Albert Park, mate. So that 4K was worth it. Honestly, it was absolutely worth it because obviously, apart from the great food. I mean, my general mission tickets, sitting on one of those great turns, watching the cars go by, is a million times better experience than being on the pit straight. But I had the pit walk and all that jazz too. You know, you get that with the paddock pass. It's not 4K anymore. It's like 8K now. But
Yeah, it's even worse now. I've never been fortunate enough to do that. I got to do corporate one time around the back.
All right. Yeah.
That's
You know what
that's the
disappointed
fanciest
me,
ticket
mate?
I've ever had.
Is that when we're sitting down to eat meals at the table, right? And, you know, there's all the other events going on, of course, during the Formula 1 weekend. You have the BS Supercars
Yeah,
and all the others.
shit.
And
Oh, yeah.
90% of the people are in the same, like, basically, let's say, above the Ferrari garage, and maybe even be in the Ferrari suite that we're in. When the race was on, 90% of these dudes and chicks were sitting at tables talking.
Oh, yeah.
There's
don't
screens
even
in
get me
there, but they
started.
weren't even out there watching the race. And I'm like, my brother and I
Hey,
going,
yeah.
you got
Isn't that
$4,000 tickets
crazy?
and you're not even interested in the goddamn
I had
race.
the-
You know,
I had the same experience in
100
corporate.
people
It was
on
exactly the
Discord
same.
right now that would love to be in your position and absolutely enjoy the race. And you guys, it's all networking. That's all it is. It's business. Like companies buy them tickets and they go there and do business. I sat at a table eating and these guys
it's
are
such
going,
a cool event.
what do you do? And I'm like, my brother and I are here to watch the Formula 1 because we love it. They're like, what business are you in? I'm like, no business, man. We're online doing other online websites, but nothing to do with this. They're like, oh. Turn away. I'm like,
Yeah,
we're
stop
here to
talking.
watch the race, buddy. What do you think we've spent $4,000 in tickets? I didn't want to ask him and say, what the hell are you here? I would now. You know, it's crazy. It's just a waste. I hate that. People
It's
companies
crazy.
waste money on
Okay.
people that aren't even interested in the race. It's
Hey,
Yeah.
you know where the best place to watch cars is on Albert Park?
where?
You stand on the lakeside at turn 11, 12. So looking at the back of the cars.
Yes, as they scoot
I think
away down
of
there.
all the GA little areas, that is probably one of my favorite places to watch an F1.
That would be
car.
better now too after they shortened the exit before that. Remember, before Lakeside Drive.
Yeah.
So they got more
yeah.
speed through there too.
God, they're rapid through. It's unreal watching them.
I was sitting on a
True,
mountain with the camera arm that went right over top of me and was zooming around. Like the
Yeah,
big
nice.
camera arm. That was actually pretty. Yeah, but I always say to people, general admission, just get general admission. Honestly, I know the paddock pass was an experience, but mate, unless you want to meet drivers and walk through the pits, I would take a paddock pass, a general admission any day of the week over spending all that money.
Absolutely.
For that experience.
best
And you
way to
can't
get
do it in all
close
these
to
tracks,
those
remember?
cars.
Like, you can't do it in Baku. I'm not quite sure you can do it in Singapore. You can't do it in a lot of other tracks.
Yeah.
You have a grandstand ticket, you can still walk around the track, as you know, but you have a seat. And you were very lucky, I guess, to get that one. So you obviously know Jules personally.
Of course.
And
we went to
he's-
primary school together, me and Jules.
Wow, you guys go way back. All right, I didn't realize that. And he's
That
a
was
race
a long
driver
time
right
ago.
now, right? So he's still doing okay in his
Yeah,
racing.
he's been in the car. That was down at Winton too. He's tested at Winton.
Are you
Made a few
ever
trips
got
to
in a car? Or just...
Not a real one.
No, not around. Not your kettle of fish. But
Not yet.
you've seen Jules do
maybe,
it.
maybe one day.
It's expensive,
Oh, yeah.
isn't it? That's the reason why, like,
Mate,
Jules could be the
it's
quickest
it's
driver on the planet,
unbelievable.
but, you know, these days you have to have money.
Yeah, just funding it is so hard.
Yeah. That's why I appreciate
man.
Lewis Hamilton so much, because how much his father and his family went through. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, beat up old go-kart scraps and pieces there, and then he goes out and kicks all these rich people's fucking... Sorry, my apologies in language, but rich people's,
Where's your
fancy
button? You missed the
carts. I got it. Rich people's carts.
There you go.
And then all of a sudden they go, who's this guy? And I think that might have probably added a little bit more to the racial hatred more than anything. I don't think that any racists really came into that. It was the fact that they just didn't like anybody that was like struggling and poor coming up against a rich kind of, family that's supporting their driver and kicking their butt. Nobody they didn't like that. So I really support Lewis Hamilton for that, And now the man has so much goddamn money.
Yeah.
He has so much money, mate. I'm balding, right? I've been balding for some years. I saw both my brothers and my dad go balding. They're older, so I saw the pattern. And I saw Lewis Hamilton's dad, right? He's balding. I'm like, he's been bald for a while. I'm like, come on, Lewis, you gotta be going bald. But he's got so much money, mate. He's prevented it. He has prevented it. There's no way he was not going to be bald. If Lewis was a general blue-collar worker, right? Not a Formula 1 multi-millionaire. If he was just a general worker, I guarantee he'd be as bald as his dad almost right now. Or half balding. But he's got so much money. Because I have another friend as well, too, that his father was balding. But he's also essentially a multi-millionaire. And he flew to Amsterdam to one of the best hair specialists in the world. And I've seen his brother that's balded, and him and his brother's only a couple of years difference than him, and his hair's fine. I'm like, money, man. You can solve the baldness with the money. So I'm just letting you know. Nobody's ever asked that. If I was actually, you know, rather than you say when I walk past drivers, you know, if it was Albert Park or whatever, if I was to stop and ask the driver, I would stop and ask Lewis Hamilton and go, how come you're not bald like your father? That's the first question I'd ever ask him. I guarantee you, how many people have ever asked Lewis Hamilton that? You have to give me some sort of a serious response or answer. I don't want to ask him, I love you. You're so quick. You won all these championships. BS. Everybody asks those questions. Lewis, why are you not bald like your father? Come on. What's the secret, mate?
You gotta get in there with something
I'm bald. My father's bald. My brothers are bald. How come you're not? See? That's all I'm saying.
I think that might be a good way to get kicked out of the hospital.
It doesn't really matter if he does it or not. At least I'll ask the question. I think Lewis would probably have a giggle and say some sort of answer. Daniel Ricciardo would have a good one come back on that one. But,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Next question, real quick. Now, I had said this before in streams. I was like, people were like, what's Daniel Ricciardo going to do, right? You remember when Daniel Ricciardo decided he was going to quit the team, right? And nobody knew what Daniel Ricciardo was going to do this year, essentially, 2023. Yep. And I was like, Daniel Ricciardo's going to go to IndyCar for sure. He's massively popular in the States. He's not going to have a seat in a decent team to win a championship. Daniel Ricciardo wants to win a championship. So to me, it was logic if he goes to IndyCar. He could boost the IndyCar series. He'll get a ton of funding behind him in IndyCar series. Maybe he'll lose some money, but then he got a big payout, remember, for exiting the team. He could go to IndyCar, boost the series, be competitive. In fact, not win the IndyCar series and win the IndyCar 500 maybe. I think that's the logical choice. He never did it. And then all of a sudden the surprise goes to Red Bull, which Christian Horner is absolutely, and Marco is absolutely peeved at him for leaving, remember? They were massively peeved.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, now you're going to sit in the sidelines as a race driver and hope to get into a Red Bull? You're not going to get a Red Bull seat full time ever again. He'll sit in there as a sub. I'm like, why the hell wouldn't you go to IndyCar, Dan? Everybody in the United States love you. You're featured on Drive to Survive almost every 30 seconds in every episode. Come on. There isn't a person, 300 million people in the United States love Daniel Ricciardo. And what
what was great?
Stays in
at the Grand Prix. At Albert Park, every single time Ricciardo appeared on the screen, that was one of the biggest cheers you'd hear all day.
Of course you would, because everybody loves him. Everybody
how amazing.
loves him.
You know who got a bigger cheer?
What? Who?
The tow truck driver when he was hauling ass around.
Oh!
The tow truck driver got the biggest cheer of the weekend, I think. Between just before the start of the race. Before the driver parade. No. They didn't have him up on the leaderboard for some reason. I don't know why.
If he had a little GoPro camera on him at the same time and put that up on YouTube, Twitch, he'd be the #1 driver.
That's the best thing about the Aussie audience, eh?
Yeah.
They'll cheer on the tow truck driver. It's
You're
great.
so lucky you went there a couple of years ago, of course, when everybody's turned out. Free practice 3, free practice, yay, let's go. No, I'm sorry, we're shutting it down. COVID.
Oh, I was there for that.
You were?
We were in the queue. We got in on the Thursday. Yep.
Oh, how gutted were you? Obviously, you can't. They refunded you, didn't they?
Sad, yeah. Which
how long did
we
they
just
take
put back
to
into the
refund
next
you?
year's tickets? Oh, it took a good few weeks, I think.
Okay. And you had general or grandstand? What do you have?
No, that was a stand as well.
Oh, okay. And they give it full money, not like half or any of that sort of jazz. Like
yeah, they give you the whole thing back.
Okay.
Which was nice. Then
I think
the prices were a bit more expensive.
In Australia, man, you don't beat around the bush on that one. They would have rioted.
Yeah, no, and it was not too bad because we did get the Thursdays, so we saw like V8s and Porsche.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? People forget about that because it was only the Formula One practice session that was cancelled, but not the other earlier. Because people remember the racing starts essentially on a Wednesday, right? And then goes through to Sunday and everything shuts down. Where'd you stay, by the way?
Well, we've been just going from home. I'm on the other side of the city to Albert Park.
Oh, okay, so you just.
But it's still only like a half an hour, 25 minutes in good traffic. Yeah, it depends.
We
We've done
drove?
the
We
tram.
drove.
We've driven in. It's hard to park these days.
Of course, it's
There's
hard
no
to park
parking
next
around.
to Albert Park and
A few years back, you could park. There's like a whole bunch of residential around, and you could park in the streets. And, walk 10 minutes, which is great. But you can't do that anymore.
You know what I did enjoy in that expensive hotel I stayed with, which is just a regular like 3-star hotel, right? But it was right next to the track. What I did enjoy with, I was coming back after the race, and there was like a whole bunch of teams sitting there in the foyer, chatting, having a couple of drinks. I sat down and had a yarn with him. Hey, blokes, how you doing?
Nice.
You know, I get to have a bit of a chant. I can't remember what crew they were, but you know, they're in the hotels nearby.
Yeah, it's great.
Not the drivers. The drivers would be more fancy hotels, but then again, I get to chat with the crew. And they were drinking up for, I'm talking about like 9, 10 o'clock at night. They're not going to be there till 1 a.m. in the morning. But it was good to actually, that's another experience that you get, I believe, that if you really are a Formula 1 fan, that you can hang out with crews, have a bit of a yarn. And the crews are pretty cool. They'll have a chat to you, you know?
Yeah, totally. I'm sure they love what they do, right? And they love talking about
I learned how much money they got down, mate. Do you know that?
Oh, no way.
The bonuses they get in the races, like if their driver wins a race, they get a bonus of like a couple of $1,000s and stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I didn't know about that.
No, I didn't know about that.
Because you know, I told you when I ask questions, and I ask the old, the same old questions that people ask. Like I said, I want to ask Lewis Hamilton a question. I want to ask him why is he balding, not balding. And I ask these guys questions like random stuff, like hey, you enjoy working for Ferrari? And the guy's gonna go, oh my god, one of these people again, asking these boring questions. I'm like, is Toto Wolff a cunt? Oh. Something like that, that's what I would ask. That's
not a swear word in Australia. That's good.
That's what I would ask somebody. What's Christian Horner like? Is he a prick? Things like that. That's what I ask. Because I'm not media. I'm just there. I'm not recording anything. So you might get an honest answer or not. But this is where I roll. I'm just cool. If you want answers that everyone's going to tell you, just watch every single stream online for Formula 1. You can get those typical answers that people ask because they can't ask that on network TV, of course.
Exactly.
That's the way it works.
Only the sanitized questions for TV.
Yep, but when I'm suggesting that anybody out there that does actually get a chance to meet drivers or teams or whatever, ask the questions that you're really thinking. Don't ever ask a question about what everybody asks. Just what is the deep down question you want to ask somebody? It doesn't have to be offensive or anything like that. Just ask something that you've been thinking that you don't believe anybody's ever, you've never heard the answer to, and you want to know the answer to. Even if you feel it might offend them a little bit, so be it. But it's, I'm not, asking Lewis Hamilton why is he not bald. I'm not trying to offend him. I am a bald person with my father being bald and so forth. So far. So my legitimate question is, why isn't he not bald? Like,
it's crucial information. We need to know.
It's just a legitimate question. If
people need to know.
He takes offense at it, but it's just a legitimate question. That's what I'm saying. Ask people that answer. Holden is the right answer that Matthew said. All right. Are you a Brocky fan and all that sort of jazz there? Back in the day, man, I'm just yarning at the moment because we have 5 hours and 38 minutes left, and you guys at the moment, the other team are about a lap down for P5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chris. So
that's good to hear.
Recap at the moment, mate. When did you and Jules start the OCE-RL League?
Yeah, we did. It was during COVID because I think we both had not too much to do, right?
Yeah, Australia got a heavy lockdown, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, so we were both kind of bored. I was working from home.
You knew each other before, right? You said
not working.
Kindergarten school, right?
Primary school, way back in the day.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so we were just like hanging out casually playing F1, and then we're like, yeah, you know how the online lobbies are in F1, kind of shit. Sorry.
No, that's how I joined, actually, believe it or not, during COVID as well, too. But yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, no, we were like, nah, this is crap. So we put together a league. I think we joined a league, and then that league was kind of whatever, so we were like, oh, just do it ourselves, And we poached a few guys from there. I think that includes Gwackle. Gwackle was probably one of the first ones to turn up.
Oh, is that you got the Gwack stuff?
Shadow. Remember Shadow?
Yeah, I think so. I remember because I
some
cast
of
a
those
couple
guys.
of your leagues. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Some
some
of the
those
Aussie
guys
leagues
are
don't
from like
like
way
me.
back in the day.
Because a lot of people don't like me because I speak, once again, I speak my voice. I keep it out there. I remember one time commenting on a league going, I can't hear the driver properly and this could be boosted and so on that, and somebody come back on, Biggles, you shouldn't say all this stuff on stream. It's not good, it's not polite, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm trying to help you out here. And they're like, we don't need your help. Bye. Ban. All right, fine. Go get that, mate. Yeah, no, they're like constructive criticism. I got banned from a lot of things for that, man. I'm trying to help people, and they don't like people telling me. I'm like, mate, I've broadcasted before. I don't want to be listen to a broadcast where somebody's so quiet you can't hear it. The other person's so loud, and then the cars you can't even hear it all. And I'm trying to give constructive feedback, and they're like, you can't tell us what to do. But yeah.
Oh,
That's
man.
how COVID. Same thing with me, mate. That's how it all started. COVID. Nothing to do, right? Lockdown.
Plenty of time. So you find something to do, right?
You get everybody else, like how John and everybody else get involved in here. Because John, to me, doesn't look like to be a person racing the F1 game.
No, definitely not. Well, John came along a bit later. I think that was a little bit of networking from Jules' side. You know, how he's trying to get into racing. I think you met him through that.
Yeah, and then obviously, I guess the whole switch from the F1, because I remember you guys casting the league. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys allowing me to be a part of the Australian. Because as an Aussie living overseas, I need my patriotism, hanging out with Aussie blokes. And once again, I peed off too many other Aussie leagues, and you guys are like, yeah, we're cool. And then and then it was all, and then I think we all realized at that point, once it all gone pole shaped, how bad it was. And at the moment, that's the driver up the road. Sorry, my apologies. Is boxing. Cooper isn't in the car a little bit further back, but yeah, the game was good back, and kind of during COVID, the game was actually quite good, even during league racing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And then it all went pole shaped down there as COVID.
Yeah, just worse and worse every
year.
year.
Just didn't care, man. They're like, hey, console games, we sell it. Stories, we sell it.
It's such a shame because they had such a cool thing going, right?
They did, mate. But yet again, like I read you have to go through, because it's a public company. Actually, I went through all the PDF documents from the press releases that the actual company releases. You'd be surprised. I was talking to all these leagues over the years, and they're like, why? I'm like, it's in the documentation. Read it. The company has to bring out basically a report every year of what the company's doing. I read through the report, 2 lines, less than a paragraph, of what they talked about the multiplayer F1 in a 1,000-page plus document. 2 damn lines they mentioned about it.
Yeah.
If a company is talking about 2 lines in their financial report to their shareholders, about the future for the company, and that's it. They were talking about other games and all this sort of stuff that they were putting all these investments in. I was
well, that's just it. When you're guys,
they're not interested in F1 multiplayer, so get over it.
When you're driven by money like that, then there's only one way it can go, right?
It doesn't make them any money, their multiplayer, man. You got to remember, it doesn't make them money. For one, they don't encourage. I keep telling teams, people put all this effort into. They create discords. You guys have done it. But you guys didn't do it level. I've seen discords of thousands of people, all these different people doing stewarding and all that, different tiers and all that stuff. And they put so much effort in it, and then they get so cranky when the game doesn't work for the multiplayer. Right, screws with their leagues, and they're upset. And I'm like, did Cody's ask you to create a multiplayer league and run it? Did they support you? Did they help you? Did they do anything like that? No. I'm like, well, why are you getting upset at them? Because 90% of the streamers out there stream 5-lap open lobbies, which boost the hell out of their product. And you guys put all this effort into a multiplayer platform with leagues and tiers and stuff, and you get absolutely zero support from the company that makes the game. Yet you'll put all this effort into it, and then you complain when nothing gets fixed.
It's a shame though. It cuts both ways, right? You would expect it to at least work.
It did. But the companies, if you read once again, go back to the statement of the PDF document that was released of their financial report to their shareholders, it doesn't say anything about what they're planning to do with multiplayer for F1 game. They're What they're talking about is how they're planning their structure for other games and other, future platforms. They don't care. It's not making them any money, man. You spent your $60 buying the game, right? You got it done. You got your single player mode. You got your career mode. And I do agree that F1 Cody's done quite well. That anybody on a keyboard or a Wii board or anything you would want to have, jump in the game and you can beat the fastest drivers in the game. Right? Win a game, win a match. Go, yeah, I'm a Formula 1 champion. It's all fun until you get bored with that career mode. When you go into the multiplayer aspect of it, that's when it drops off most people off. Most people never really get into the multiplayer mode, and I never did. I had 10 years of the F1 game of playing it. Never played online until COVID. Then I started playing online. That's how I met a couple of people and joined a Discord, and they said, hey, you should commentate and stuff. That's how it started. However, I never did before. And so you got to remember that I'm not the only one. There's millions of other people around the world that just play the game, play the career mode, have fun with it. And like attention span of everybody these days, there's 100 other games released at the same time. So they go, all right, I'm done with the F1. It's fun. What's this new game coming out? And then they play that, play that. It's only a small select of people that actually take it more seriously and go into the multiplayer aspect of it. And then they do it. But the F1, Cody's, well, how much extra money are they getting from you running leagues? Nothing. You've already got the game. They got your money. They're not getting any extra. So that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
iRacing takes that different approach perfectly, where you want to play iRacing, you got to subscribe for a monthly subscription. Then that monthly subscription, I think, is basically a good indication of saying, if you're going to be serious about doing this, racing the sim, you have to put a little bit of cash up. And people go, oh, I don't want to pay that subscription. I'm like, it's a burger and fries, man, a month. It doesn't cost you that much. And then you buy the cars and the track. That's to indicate to them that you're serious. Because if you do spend that money, you then have to invest your time into it. And it's only multiplayer. Remember, iRacing doesn't have, like F1, a story mode where you jump in and go, I'm going to be racing around Le Mans 24. And here we go. I'm going to jump into lap 337 with 20 minutes to go on the race, and I can get past 5 cars and win it and get an award. It doesn't happen, right? There's no modes like that in iRacing, as you know. No, you jump into it, you're in the deep end. In fact, it does deter a lot of people because there's none of that. Like, if you don't actually know a community of people that help you set up a car and stuff, you're screwed. You're going to struggle with it and hate it, probably.
It's a big cliff to get over initially to get into it. But, I mean, once you're at a certain level, it's like, AI is just not fun anymore. You need to compete against people,
Yeah, and that's
what different.
And iRacing never really promotes that at all. It doesn't promote you to go out there and do that. And there's a little bit of downside. I've actually kind of thought about, like, if iRacing was to encourage a lot more people into the game, they should have some sort of like story career mode, perhaps, to get people into it a little bit and then throw on the deep end. Otherwise, it's completely, because I know people that come from an F1 game and they don't like iRacing because they don't have that adjustment to it immediately. You're throwing straight into a car. You have no setup. They go into a couple of corners. Like, they go, I'll go Monza, and I'll go in a W12 or maybe an F3, something like that, right? And they go planting the same thing they do in the F1 game, straight into the first couple of corners of Monza, and they get to bin it, and they'll bin it like 3, 4, 5, 7 times, and then they go, I hate it. I don't like it. Nothing like F1. Bang. And then just cancel subscription, don't do it anymore. And that's a downfall for iRacing, because if you just jump above that hurdle a little bit, get some help tweaking the car, have some patience, all of a sudden you're loving iRacing. It's brilliant after that. But it's a huge adjustment, isn't it? ACC does it better by jumping into it, because you don't have to buy all the cars and tracks and stuff. But we can talk about this till we're black and blue in the face, by the way. You guys already know, so it's pointless me explaining that.
Is there anything fun happening in the Split 5?
No, Cooper's in control of that vehicle at the moment, the 51, just hovering at the moment in P6, 3. It's still about 3 minutes and change down the road there from the arch rival, the Grizzly Motorsports team. Been battling out for a bit. Europeans, I believe. They've just taken their pit stop before. Actually, believe it or not, P4 was taking a pit stop. We're going down pit road right now. That would be unlapping ourselves essentially. So, cool.
It's good to hear.
How are you guys going in?
We are P9 on track now. So yeah, I think we came out P9. Yep, but on the bright side, the car's looking good. What kind of laps are we doing here?
Yeah, give us a
Yeah,
lap
Peanut's
time.
in control
I'll
right
give
now.
you a lap time. What? So, are you still with me, Matt?
Hello.
Everything
Did
just
you
went
drop there, or did I drop?
pear-shaped. Yeah, no. Dingo ate me cable. I hope this
Oh,
stream is
no.
still okay. Live. Everything just dropped off. OBS said it disconnected. Maybe it's okay. Matthew, if you're out there, anybody else, let us know if it's okay. I thought it was you guys dropping connection, but it was actually me.
I think this. I still see the stream.
No, I actually have to rejoin the session because it's dropped me. Darn it.
Uh,
Oh, I'm going to lose
iRacing's
all my